how long the intro is. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Non-Effort. Today's subject, banana bread.
Yeah.
I was saying that I had 2 pieces of banana bread for breakfast, and having carbs for breakfast is a bad plan because those are the things that will make you tired. Like Brad talks about food making him tired, and I was like, it's not supposed to do that. It is if you eat 2 pieces of fucking banana bread.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But my kitchen...
Because it's just carbs and sugar.
It's carbs and sugar, yeah. So you're just immediately having to generate insulin. The best way to start a day.
Yeah, not a smart plan. But my kitchen, I left my kitchen a mess. I didn't clean up last night, and I'm like, I'm not touching that shit. Fuck that.
I really enjoyed the part of your stream where you chastised yourself, because it's the way I speak to myself as well. You were like, well, I wish I could do this thing and get some food before the show today because I'm going to be fucking starving during the show today. Wish I'd cleaned my kitchen. Just suck it past whack. And I was like, oh my God.
But like I made myself a protein shake and I realized, my blender's dirty. So I'm like, I have my ancient Twitch shaker cup that I can use to craft a protein shake. The second the like granule of protein touched my tongue, it was like, oh, now you have energy. Congratulations. Like you needed protein, you dumb fuck. Yeah. And it hit me immediately.
You need all of them. And it's really annoying when you realize that you're missing one. Yeah. Like if I like miss one of them, because I can very easily just miss one of the things, protein, carb, like the whole thing. If I miss one, I just feel like shit the next day. And then I'm like, why? You know, I'm like, oh, why? Why do I feel so bad? Like, what's going on? And I'm like, I just eat some fries. And I'm like, oh, it was carbs. I just needed a little bit, you know? It's weird. Because you think you could just live without carbs and just be like skinny and beautiful.
Because you think
forever.
back to like,
like
the college version of you where you ate the remnants, like the crust, you know, on the bottom of your shoe. You're like, I can live on this forever.
And you can. I was invulnerable to everything. And now I am incredibly frail. Like, to be fair, some of it I feel like is like a weird sort of like physical karma that's coming round on me. When my body's like, well done. Age. You lived at 150 miles an hour and now your entire constitution is destroyed.
Yeah.
Because there's something in there. It's karmic. That much we know.
It's definitely not. It's definitely not you beating up your body for 20 years. Like just devastating, salting the earth.
Welcome to Non-Effort, everyone. This is sort of it's the buffer show. It's the show.
The show in between shows.
In between shows, in which we chat predominantly about TTRPG stuff or running TTRPG productions like we do here on Tablestory. I think people don't realize they can submit any question. I've said it.
It doesn't have to be
100 times
related.
And I've said it even.
Say it one more time, just
even
so that it's
in between things. When like
you got it.
Last week I was like submit a sound effects question, and everyone submitted sound effects questions. I was like, it doesn't have to just be that. It can be anything, and it can also just be. We will talk about anything. If you have a good enough question that we can put on the little subject bar.
Good enough. That's it.
When I say good enough, it has to do. It can't be like a yes or no question, because a lot of people will submit like, "What's your favorite color?" And I'm like, well. We can't have a full discussion about that.
Yeah, because that's
even though we've
favorite
done it
as well.
We could, because we could probably get into color theory and stuff, but we would be, we would be twisting it. And the point is, it's non-effort. We're not supposed to be putting effort into this. We shouldn't have to twist things. That's the job of a DM.
Let's hear PB's color theory about Expedition 33.
No. We have not got time for that.
Yeah.
No.
I've mostly got like
gonna be
green, white, and red so far.
That's a 12-hour
and
post finish of the game stream that she's going to be doing. Yeah, no, we haven't got time for any of that.
It's so good.
When was we playing it, me and Whack? Was it during Don't Die? When was it that Whack was late? What show was that?
That was the last episode.
Finale of Don't Die.
So that was when. So then I was probably playing it after that. What did we do after Don't Die? Did we go straight into Defend the Gates, or did we
had non-effort for a little bit.
We did have a buffer.
Yep.
So I was
3
probably
weeks.
playing it last time we did non-effort. That's weird. And I wasn't allowed to talk about it because PB hadn't played it. Also,
we're not allowed to talk about it because somebody listening might be playing it, but it's very good.
I don't care about them.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
They made a terrible mistake. No, I don't want to talk about it.
I'll
tell you why I don't want to talk about it is that I'm scared that I'll just like say something that is way too revealing, you know?
Yeah.
PB was messaged me a couple of times and been like, and then this thing and this thing, and I just wrote, I think last night I wrote the word Wii U and then just ended the conversation. Because I'm like, I'm about to say something and then I'm like, hang on, that even though it's not a spoiler, it'll give your brain.
My brain will just go in overdrive.
The thing I think I was going to say to you last night was not even like, it was like, she will think that means something is what I was about to write. And then I was like, that will just fuck with her too much.
Yeah.
I just wrote Wii U.
Yeah.
And then started talking about like the rain or something.
A prime example that actually happened was somebody had said, oh, I thought I recognized Ben Starr's voice. And I was like, oh my God, is that Ben Starr? And somebody was like, no. And then somebody else replied, he is in the game though. And then after the expedition starts, and I'm like, oh, there must be people on the other side of the continent
then.
Me
as well,
otherwise they, that wouldn't be the thing. And then,
I went off down a tangent. I remember the same tangent.
But you saw Booster Greg and Brad's intro.
No, actually. So, no. So Greg sent the intro over for me to use and I sent it to Brad and he edited it and it's literally just spoiler. So
my intro was a spoiler as well, to be fair, because I didn't know. I had no idea what I was going into with this game. And like I played it pretty fresh. Like I don't normally get on new games that quickly. One of the good things about this game, it's in the title. It's obscure as shit. So even though I had seen random things, I like didn't know what I was even looking at. And it didn't really have a lot of context until I got to it in the game, which is nice. The game has a self-spoiler deflect device in just it being such a weird premise and setting and everything, which is quite nice. Also, I don't know if you have this as well, but I very rarely actually watch my intros. Like, I'll make it.
Oh, yeah.
And I hit play on it and I'll go pee. Or I'll grab a drink or something.
Yeah.
Like, it's a quick... It's a lot of the time for me, I'll be live for a half an hour, and then I run the intro and it gives me a second to just bugger off and grab something, or grab a cookie or something. And I do that a lot. So I very rarely actually see my intro. And I remember when I think it was Claire Obscure, I was playing it and someone was like, that's the thing from the intro. And I was like, oh, I don't even know what they're referencing. I've seen the intro once.
That's amazing to me that you can edit the thing and it doesn't register to your brain. But if you watch your intro, it will.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of the time when I edit my intros, it is done in the most blitz 10 minutes before stream way. And I'm so quick at editing and I'm so good at just looking for motion, It's not even like I'm looking for a specific, I'm not even watching the thing. I just see an appropriate motion that is happening in the random trailer that I've ripped or something, and I just grab that bit and put it next to the bit in the music that is high waveforms, because I don't know, it's just years of editing absolute dog shit is the answer. Mindlessly editing absolute dog shit. And that isn't just the famous person that I worked for. That's my own content. That is random commercial shit that I've worked on. It's dog shit, all of it. And I just mindlessly, I can't even see what I'm looking at anymore. So a lot of the time I do edit stuff, and I imagine that people probably think I've massively spoiled myself on a lot of the games, but I've wiped it instantly.
Yeah.
You know, and I really don't recognize it that much.
Pretty good with like a selective memory for stuff like that. I think I can kind of do that as well. Like I can just turn my brain off. Like if some screenshots or something will get loaded for a game, I will consciously tell myself, don't remember this. And I won't.
If you have no context for it and don't really apply your visual cortex, then it doesn't really stay in your brain, which is a weird phenomena, I think, because I have it a lot as well with a lot of things that I'm seeing online now, you know, just spoilers and shit. I just go, don't remember that, and then move on. My brain doesn't take it in.
Bombarded by like every form of media, and every way possible.
I remember Pony saying to me once, he was like, how do you not know anything about any game coming out? How have you never seen a frame of this? How have you never seen this trailer? How have you? And I was like, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I
purposely avoid it.
I do purposefully avoid it, but it's like almost, it's actually like almost impossible to do. And yet somehow I have a sixth sense at this point for mostly avoiding things and just having a pretty, I think a lot of people don't have a strict sense of like actually scrolling past the thing or not letting themselves Google something that they're excited about or whatever. Whereas I feel like I'm quite good at that, whatever that's called, not doing drugs.
Self-control.
Self-control.
Sobriety.
Straight up sobriety has trained me to be really good at that kind of, self-control. Discipline, you know.
Discipline.
Non-effort, by the way. Otherwise, we're going to be talking about Claire Obscure for the whole thing. Is a show in which...
Well, we were talking about spoilers and...
We, in order for us to stop talking about nothing, you have to give us money. That money goes into the little bar on the left-hand side of the screen there. And as we hit those different subject matters there, we will talk about them. It won't immediately end the conversation and we'll change subject, but we sort of unlock them and then make our way through the different subject matters throughout the evening. Now, these are all questions that have been submitted on
What's the passion project question? I'm just curious so that I can think about it ahead of time.
That one,
is it what I think it is?
That one I think is going to be an interesting conversation for us.
I'm super intrigued
because it's
already.
A weird one. It's one of those weird ones where we have to talk.
Thank you, Leo Lurks, for the $100. Thank you,
Leo. Thank you.
Are you a Leo?
The bar has not moved.
Every
the
time.
The bar's broken. Yep.
Maybe it has. I can't tell.
I was saying to Whack before this, every time we do this, I have to like brush off an ancient OBS set of scenes for this show because it just goes into storage until we need it, you know, between shows. And it's just every time there's something janky about one of the things in it, you know, like something won't work. It'll be the cams or it'll be the bar or it'll be like some, you know, random thing that I can't prepare for. There we go.
Want to be on?
I might need to manually refresh.
Hey, boo boo.
Here?
Hey, boo boo.
Yeah, the different questions have been submitted from people on the Tablestory Discord. You can submit questions as well, even if there isn't, you know, maybe we're not doing this next week or we're not doing it the week after or whatever. I go through and look at the old ones and see if we've missed any, or I hire Piranha Plant to do it if there's any really interesting subjects or topics. So we might be able to find like legacy questions and stuff. Most of these were submitted this week, I believe. A couple of them are around like music and sound effects and stuff. A couple of them are around, the passion projects, kinda.
Oh boy.
We got some character stuff. I also thought maybe I could leak some information about the upcoming show when it is.
Oh, okay.
What it's called and the vague synopsis, maybe. And there's a bonus question which I have as well for time's sake. For time's sake. That's the name of the show. A time travel show. Have we done time travel? How many times have we done time travel? Do you remember when we wouldn't do it?
I'm still hoping for a show without it.
What do you mean? You've done shows without it.
It worms its way in to every show at some point.
Yeah.
For sake.
I know. Remember when I tried not to do time travel? And that was for the first season of Tidal Blades. I was like, I'm not going to do time travel, guys. And then there's like time travel. No. I mean, there's time travel in the system. So then I was like, well,
whoopsie.
Whoopsies. I guess
remember
we're
I
going
actually
to
tried to avoid it for my sake.
Because Whack, he
I
doesn't
don't
like
want to
time
put
travel.
time travel in this. Because Whack is on this
Whack's
show.
in it, yeah.
Thank you, Bro the Boss, for the 5 and Geek Dice for the 50.
I didn't do time travel in Blade Runner. I've done it, Whack. I did it.
Or did you?
I mean, if you count like flashbacks and stuff, one-offs where you go back in time to tell the story.
No.
Sure, but
I
don't count that either. Right. So I've done it. I've done a show without time travel.
Congrats.
Ungodly didn't have time travel either, did it? Pretty good. Pretty good, I think.
She lied.
Yep.
I could have put time travel in there. I could have done it.
I could have. In Blade Runner? No.
All right. Let's open up with the first question. Now, there's sort of two questions that are similar enough that I think that they should count as the entire first
as one.
subject.
They should morph into each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, prepare your brains.
Okay.
Bro the Boss said, have you ever thought of putting specific sound effects for each character of a show? If you have, please let me know how it went. But secondarily, and following up in this, Silicon said, do any of you as a GM come up with soundscapes for the player characters, background music, sound effects coinciding with character actions, etc. in the production process of shows, or do you let the players come up with a lot of that? How do you go through the thought process of making those associations? Do you listen to or make playlists for the characters to get into the mindset, or do you have another method of doing so? If any of this makes sense, it does. And I think
this is what it sounds like to PB.
All done it, yeah.
When we ask her questions, usually.
What do you mean?
Just you've responded in the first half a second while we're still trying to
verbalize it.
The entirety of our thoughts.
Yep.
To be fair, you do miss a lot of the tertiary stuff, and you stop listening after a certain point.
Yeah. I like it. What? What was that?
Now answer the question.
Yep.
Me?
Yep.
Yes, I do. To both of those.
Right,
and
next.
no, I do not let my players do it. Oh, okay.
You don't let your players do it?
Not for their music, no.
No, music's mental.
No, we've never done that.
For sound effects.
Never. Yeah, absolutely. Sound effects are not a problem. Like as long as it's,
not trash.
Yeah, I would say something like that, but I don't think I've ever really either gone out of my way to check either. People will be like, I want to do some sound effects, and I'm like, that's super awesome, go for it.
Sometimes I just bang it out.
I'll do like a sound check. Yeah, and you're like, that was awesome.
Yeah. August did that, I think, with his time stuff in Cura.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, that was him? I thought that was you.
Yeah, I think he did it, and I was like, oh.
Wow. GG.
Yeah.
It was very good.
Did it.
Yep.
Maybe I did it. No, I think it was him.
Are we all feeling okay? Did we just praise Orcish?
Yeah.
No, I sort of took it back at the end because I was like, maybe, you know what?
Yeah.
You're right. I don't think he is capable. Maybe I did do it for him.
Maybe
and then I went, well, that sounds bad. I'll take that back and let him have it just in case he did do it. So 50-50.
50-50.
I think he did it.
We can't let Orcish know that there's any sort of praising that happens.
Yeah, he's not home yet. He doesn't get home till tonight. He'll never
stream. He will like have that shit playing in the background all the time.
What's wrong with that? Gas a guy up.
Okay. Yeah, please continue. What about I think we probably all have the same answer with sound effects, in that you have specific sound effects for each characters of a show. That's almost inevitable, especially if you're running something where they have different like classes that are distinctly different.
Yeah, or like magic
you have like a time
spells or
mage,
something,
or you have like a cleric or whatever. You're probably going to have different sounds for different spells in general, so therefore they will be attached to them. Specific character sounds I haven't done as many times. I think the only time I really did it was that you all had different lightsaber sounds in Rota. And then other than that, I normally just get a pool of different sound effects, and then they end up getting them. Miranda sent us some sounds for the bird Miranda that's in SideQuest. That is literally Miranda being like, wah, 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 or whatever. And I just gave them all to Maya and was like, you are in charge of these. Play them whenever you want. I don't care. Rather than me micromanaging it as well.
Yep.
But in terms of soundscapes, and music and stuff like that, how do you go through the thought process of making those associations, and do you listen to or make playlists for the characters to get in the mindset, or do you have another method? I don't know if I said as well, but Silicon provided the second half of this question. Bro the Boss was the first.
Go for it.
Can I just build on that question? Because I think PB has done this probably the most out of all of us. But specifically for Gone, you had a lot of music that was created. How early on did the players plan out their characters? Were you finding yourself doing the soundscapes and stuff pretty late into the production process for that?
Oh, that's a good question. So before I forget though, because I know that we talk about, running home games, but also, sometimes people are listening to this for like production purposes. I think Brad brings up a good point. Like if you've got action sounds like swords or spells, sometimes it's better to give those ones, even if you've picked them out for everyone, to the players, so that you're not interrupting them when they're doing their spell. When they've got control of it, it just like flows better. So from a production standpoint, I would recommend doing that. But for all other sounds, obviously you can handle that. And then to switch back and answer the question about music, I do tend to pick character themes for people that play specifically when that character's doing something, or around that character being focused, etc., etc. And sometimes I will have certain themes that are like, obviously you have the sad song or whatever, but I will also have some themes around certain elements. Like, the music might change if either a character is being introduced or discussed, or if that character is behind the scene. Like if it's like, Delilah's magical bullshit, I might play a song of her or hers in the background. Or like in Deathless recently, whenever two characters are doing like mental chess with each other, I play a weird waltz, like a dance, because they're fucking mind gaming each other. So I like that. So I like picking specific music. I like picking music that is specific to a theme or a character. And so far, the way that it works is we'll do our session 0. Sometimes I will have already started listening to music, and I kind of get an idea of what that song is or what that might represent. Then we do our session 0, and people are talking about their characters. And honestly, usually by the way that they describe their character, I am able to go like, okay, I think this is the vibe that they would have, and I might pick one or two. But I always know in the moment, like if I need to change it, then I won't play it that time, and I will wait, and I will go and I will find it based on how they've been playing their character throughout the show. But for the most part, it's like I know instantly who it's for when I hear it, which maybe that's weird, but like there was the song we played one time in Blade Runner, and it was for Galen, and I knew it was his the moment I heard it, and I was like, it's only played in a very specific scenario, and that if that scenario never comes up, then it never gets played. But yeah, I don't know what that is. yeah, I don't know if that's just, you know, I haven't really had to go and look up a different theme for anyone either. So I don't know what that is.
It's just kismet.
But yeah.
I've done that a couple of times as well, where I found, quite often I will find like a quote unquote generic sound. Something that sounds like I could use it as a bed in certain scenes, you know, maybe it's just a generic sound that I'm like, that would be useful if they're in a dungeon, or that would be useful if they're in this situation or whatever. And then I find myself using it for something else by chance, or by, you know, because, or sometimes because I don't have a choice. I'm like, I haven't got another song, so I'll just use this one and hope that it fits the scene.
I don't do that.
Well, what if you have no music?
I never put myself in that situation, I guess. What do you mean, what if you have no music?
Oh my God, so elitist.
Wait,
the way she
what do you
answered
mean?
that.
What do you mean if you don't have music? Because I think
Brad.
No. I think I misunderstood. Did you mean for like a specific scene in the current show? Or did you mean like using music from other shows in a different show?
I don't even know what the second one means.
Okay, that's what I thought you meant. I thought you meant like
me hostage. Help me.
I thought you meant like you're running side quests and you don't have a song, so you go and grab something from Darkfire.
Oh, never.
That's what I thought you meant.
That's
okay. That was my reaction. I was like, what are you talking about that you don't have a song?
Just, I mean, I've got 20 songs. I don't know, right?
Yeah.
I've started running side quest. I have a generic dungeon theme. I have a generic sad theme.
I do that all the time.
I have a generic, you know, what if they're just traveling theme.
Yep.
And then I find that they're in a situation that I hadn't predicted they'd be in.
Yep.
And I don't have time to go and find a song in that moment.
So you have to use a character's theme or something like that.
So I find another piece of music that's one of the ones I haven't used there that was like kind of pre-prepped for a different thing later on.
And then you got to go get a new one for the pre-prepper. Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, actually this has become this theme, or this has become that person's theme, or whatever. Although I haven't done it as much, the thing with like personal themes in a while. I also used to just do the battle themes and stuff as well. I don't really do that as much either.
Yeah.
I find
I love the battle themes.
A bunch of different ones, but yeah, I was making personalized battle themes for a while as well. That was fun to do. I've done it less, specifically with side quests, because the whole point of it is that I'm trying not to overproduce it.
Generic sounds and music and
I do my own sound effects as much as I can for this. Instead of relying on producing
really
them,
good.
You know, because I was doing that so much over the last couple of years that I wanted to undo that. But also I think I run stuff. I don't run things the way you do either. I'm predominantly running just usually D&D.
Yeah.
So
I want to do that next.
It's almost always like a bunch of generic music. If I was doing Blade Runner, or even if I was doing something like Deathless, I'd probably find player specific themes as well. But for side quests, there's like I don't know why I would need one necessarily. You know, too many times. Cura, what I did was I went with like a style instead. So I tried to make, especially the beginning, because they started in a certain area, I did like Nordic sounding music for everything. Like heavy drums or like ancestral sounding music for when they were moving around the world. I just wanted it to feel very old world, old gods type sound. So I did that with that a little bit. Side quest has been very bardic.
I do like having a cohesive like theme or whatever vibe for the music for the show. I think we all do that, because I know main character has that, you know, guitar vibe.
It'd be so good if you
quite could, like. I love it.
If we had the cash, like being able to truly commission someone to just
fudge, bro. What he did for I cannot. Holy
because they
shit,
know
dude.
how to keep it. It would sound, not only would it sound like if you gave them a theme, you were like Nordic. They were like, oh, it makes it Nordic. But they also almost always have their own style as well. So it's has a very familial sound across the whole thing. That's the dream. That's like full production, but it would be so cool to be able to do that.
Dude, the dream. No, hold on. If we're talking about fucking passion dreams here, the dream would be to have like 2 or 3 musicians on retainer. We just like pay for them to live. And then I go, fuck, I need a song on Thursday for this. And then they're like, got it. You know, or they've just been making music and they're like, yep, I got one. Here you go. Bing, bing, you know, bing. That kind of thing. Yeah.
Zentir has done it for me a couple of times as well.
Yeah, Zen would be one of the ones
Zentir is
I
just
would
like, oh,
immediately
here's a song, by the way, and I'm like,
pay your living costs so you're not stressed. Yeah.
Yeah.
That and having artists on retainer would be super cool too. Yeah.
Do you have any
Also,
answers
just
for
'cause
this, Whack? Oh, never mind.
you create this. You create things better when you're not stressed about that shit. So being able to have like, artists and musicians on retainer, not freaking out about paying their bills, and then able to just freely create.
Yeah,
fuck, man. It might be the other way around. Why are you laughing at me? I was speaking. All right. Sorry, Whack. Go ahead.
No worries. I think that I don't do the thing where I have a specific track for a specific character. It might be something that I look into based on whatever show I'm doing. But I think in my head, and this isn't me trying to say the way I do it is correct or anything along those lines.
So whatever he says, take it that way.
Yep. No. Okay. I'm on it.
Is that the collaborative storytelling? It's a collaborative storytelling experience. So I think in my head, I'm more trying to gear it towards the overall feel as opposed to an individual person. But I don't think that's necessarily correct or anything. It's just what my brain does. So I'm usually just like, when I hear this track, what is the moment for this track to be played? And I don't usually think about characters because a lot of times I don't get the characters until pretty late into the process. Usually players are like creating stuff like pretty late on. And I need to create a lot of the soundscapes and the tracks and things while I'm working on the premise of the show. I need to usually...
100%. Music first for me, too.
Yeah, like I
do music first and last. I do half of it at the first,
Yep.
and then I do half of it
probably
day off sometimes.
Makes the most sense, honestly, to do it that
You get
way.
your like fucking mood board going, and then you've got that playlist on repeat while you work. Yeah, I do that too.
And I think that I will definitely do that, but it's pretty reduced. I will usually be like, I'll listen to the whole playlist or something, and I'll be like, what am I missing? And I'll try to think about that, and I'll look at like other shows and be like, what did I have set up for other shows? What were these moments that I needed? Are there any other shows that I've done that are kind of similar to this? Like, I should probably follow that as a template for what kind of music I need. And I think the shows that I really, really, really focused on the music the most were probably 100 Club and Ashes of Eriador, most likely, and
my
Rhyme.
tits. Ash's soundtrack was so good.
The thing is, though, you have to get it right, don't you? I'm sure you had it with Blade Runner. I had it with Star Wars, where it took me so much longer. Because quite often I will be looking for music, and I'll be looking for like a generic battle theme, just anything that sounds like right and isn't too invasive. And I'll find a different song in that process that is immediately I'm like, that's for a different scene. I'm like, I know what this is for. I'm keeping that, and it feels right for not my generic battle theme, but whatever. When you're looking for a specific sound, like trying to find stuff that sounds like John Williams Star Wars scores, or anything close to that, that takes forever. That's scouring for days, legitimately days of work, just scouring and scouring and scouring multiple different fucking feeds and sites, and God, that takes forever. Star Wars was real hard to do.
I remember throwing in effort to try to find some stuff for you, but then also there came a point where you were like, stop looking because I don't want you to be spoiled, but also I'm like, good luck trying to get that sound exactly right. And I did have that for Blade Runner, where especially because like synthwave is super popular right now, and it would have been so easy for me to pick music that was more on that vibe than the traditional like Vangelis synth vibe. But I remember like looking at the details of the song to see what instruments were used, to see if they used analog synths, and then being like, okay, this is acceptable. And that's like a level of insanity that but when it's not yours, it's Blade Runner, you got to do it. It's Star Wars, you got to do it. You got to make sure it's right. I get it. Yeah, you got to.
I feel like that level of detail is, when you look at it from, and when you step back and you think about that level of detail, you think it's neurotic, and it is.
Okay.
But does it work better? Yes.
Yes.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that I think I'm not musically inclined at all. I think I'm terrible at any sort of. I don't have any musical talent. I don't.
That's not true. I heard you sing "Brad, Can You Hear Me" perfectly earlier.
It's funny because I didn't.
Bradley, can you hear me? Yeah, it was so good. Oh.
But like I've got no musical talent. So when I'm doing the songs, I think I'm good at the like DJ aspect of like I need to get the right track for this.
Yes,
I think I'm good at that. And that's just pure experience. That comes from my broadcasting days and fucking Winamp.
Yeah.
In the Winamp days when we didn't give a fuck about like copyright or anything. We're just playing tracks, We're just playing top 40 tracks and not giving a shit.
That's the llama's ass, right?
Yeah.
Is that Winamp? Oh my God, what a blast from the past. I did.
It whips the llama's ass.
I'd totally forgotten that until you said Winamp. I heard it in my head and I was like, what?
They had ads
Memory
for Winamp.
unlocked.
When you loaded up Winamp for the first time, it played that ad.
It would go.
Mine didn't. Oh, did it?
Winamp.
Yeah.
It whips the llama. It really whips the llama's ass.
Mine didn't do that at all.
Yeah.
Am I crazy? Winamp was the one that had the waveforms that you could just watch. Is that that one?
Yep.
Yeah, a visualizer.
Yes, it
I
is.
don't remember
visualizer.
mine doing that.
Does Winamp still exist?
Yeah. And they had, to be fair, I think it's like a malware now.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Like I think the newer versions, like you download a zip file or something, there's malware and shit in there.
Oh, gross.
But yeah, they used to have like skins and everything for it. It was
I
like
remember.
Yeah.
Winamp Skins was a place. Yeah.
Yep.
The Matrix, like they had like 8 different. Yep. I remember that.
I had a million different ones. And I remember setting stuff up for the broadcast and I had one monitor. Can you imagine doing a fucking broadcast with one monitor? Like in those days? And it was a giant, I had a giant CRT monitor. It was a 21-inch CRT monitor. The thing must have weighed 150 pounds. Like it was so fucking heavy, dude. I remember when I sold it, or when I originally bought it, I bought it from like some rando that was selling it on like, Craigslist or something. And we drove to this guy's house, and I remember he's like, Are you ready to grab this monitor? I'm like, why? He's like, this thing's really fucking heavy. And he gave it over to me. I almost dropped the fucking thing. I was like, holy shit.
No.
Yeah. Bought it for like $20 or something. And trying to organize the Winamp windows and like how to do it was like its own fucking little task. You had to like get everything lined up right. But that really helped me to like figure out how to make playlists for an audience.
Yeah.
And like
that's fair.
Who my target audience was, what kind of a show am I running, what game am I trying to broadcast.
The original mixtape age, so we know. We've been making playlists for a long time. Yep. Now kids just open up Spotify and it does it for them.
Thank you, Anonymous, for the 20. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Damn.
That's a weird fucking thing to think about. That our time with Winamp or like having to pick original tracks to then put on your fucking summer CD that you use in your car, that experience directly led to being able to properly source music for like a show. Because if you think about it, you don't technically have to do that now. You can open Spotify and go, here's this radio or here's a playlist that somebody else has made, But if you wanted to do that when we were younger, especially if you, had listened to a variety of shit, you were the one that had to do it.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep. So you had to be a little bit like, you had to be a DJ as well.
Yeah.
When you're doing that stuff. And I remember when we went to the World Cyber Games and DJ Wheat gave me his precious fucking CD that had like all the broadcasting tracks for us to play. And he was like, "Yo, dude, these are the tracks, man."
Holy shit.
Don't lose it. There's
I didn't
only one
realize that
copy.
DJ Week was Steve-O.
Yeah, basically.
That's crazy.
Basically.
Did he do like a weird little stunt where he shoved something up his ass?
Oh,
On the plane
Lord.
over
I mean,
to-
I don't think I'm allowed to talk about that.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But yeah.
Which means yes.
Send it to him.
just so we know. Yeah, I learned a lot of the process of making a D&D game for me is one of two things. One was figuring out how to do post-production, which is what I was trained in for like movies. Live. So I was like, how the fuck do you do that? You know, I didn't really think about it. And two was, how do I make this D&D thing be a Final Fantasy game? You know, like it's a major mistake that many of my players make in thinking they're playing D&D. They're not. They're playing Final Fantasy that's coming out of my brain, and the only thing I can be bothered to learn to facilitate that is D&D. So I was like, I need themes, like when you're in a Final Fantasy game, there are areas that have a theme. There's a battle theme. There's a boss battle theme. There are like themes that fit characters, but they weren't the player characters. That was like Sephiroth, Kuja.
Yeah,
villain. You know, a villain shows up, or the queen, or like a weird character.
You do the villain theme a lot, actually.
I always do a villain theme.
Yep.
I think it's.
I was gonna say
I think it's important because I'm a fan of establishing a villain correctly.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you have no goal. Like my goal in those games is always like, I'm gonna get that motherfucker. You know, I'm gonna get him. And I wanted to convey that in my early D&D games, and obviously a lot of that is carried through as my structure of how I run these games a lot of the time. So that was my original process. Was how do I make this feel like a Final Fantasy game? Well, the first thing I need to do is find like.
Thank you, Shadow, for the $100. Thank you.
Holy shit! Thank
this
you.
Starting area needs a theme, and if they come back to this town has a theme. Personally, I've actually found that doesn't work. Over the years, it doesn't work as well in D&D. You might be able to get it. Yeah,
because then you'll have a million of them, depending on your campaign, right?
Yeah, I've also found that I'm not a huge fan of playing the same song for a whole fucking campaign.
Yep.
You know, like eventually you tune into it. What I did for side quests, because I had to circumvent this thing in my head, because I didn't want to be constantly looking for music and stuff, is I made what I've called like a bardic mix. It's like 6 or 7 songs that I've just made into one extended looping loop that rolls through. You probably would hear it if I played it now, you'd recognize it. And I'm going to do that and just swap it out every now and then. And I play that, and that's just my generic music for whenever. Then I had like a travel theme and like stuff like that. All generic. Whereas originally I was trying to do like town themes and specific travel themes. So when they were on the world map, it was playing the world map theme, because that's what happens in Final Fantasy games. But I haven't found it to be particularly effective. What I found to be more effective was just like trying to turn this into a movie, trying to turn this into a TV show.
Yeah, underscore. Yeah.
And approaching it more like a classic, score or soundtrack in that way. Which is really just like finding music appropriate. A lot of the time, sometimes it's just for that session, and you'll never hear those songs again. You know.
Yep.
I think that's all I do. I flip-flop between finding as many generic sounding themes that I can just like, I know that's appropriate. They're going into a spooky forest, I have that song. They're on the ocean, I have that song. They're in the desert, I have that song. And then if I know there's a specific set of scenes, if I've pre-planned something for them to be in a particular castle, it's a vampire's castle, I know they're going there, I will seek out gothic, classic, vampiric sounding castle music, and I'll use it while they're in that castle, and then once they leave, I'll never use it again. That's my general go-to for themes. But again, it's tailored to D&D. I think if I was running a different system, I might approach it differently. You know, maybe I wouldn't. Can't tell.
I have probably run the most systems, and usually I don't do that at all. I just do it based on the theme of the show. Because the system for me is just the vehicle for the story. It's just a tool, and I don't know that the system in and of itself dictates what is really happening in the show. We do. So I feel like I always just do it based on the show's theme.
Yeah, sometimes I use, when I say D&D, what I mean is fantasy. So I don't mean the system. Because Mistlight had a horror theme and the music was spooky.
Yeah.
You know? So that's just to clarify.
Yeah.
Well, I'm running generic fantasy is what I should have said. The next part of this question just follows on. The next subject just follows on from this one. I figured it would be easier to keep them all together. But we do have a mid question.
Yes.
Mid question.
An in-betweener. A little buffer, a little non-effort question from someone called Keeper of the Art, who is in Waxwords an in-betweener. What PB said, this person is a traitor who is abandoning us. I think you said in our DMs earlier on, and Whack referred to as an apostate, somebody who
it does sound like me to use a word like that.
Yep. Every day.
Keeper, sweet, lovely Keeper, is abandoning us. Isn't that right, Keeper? You can't lie. Keeper put a question in that is sort of along the lines of this. How do you keep track of all your sound effects and music? And then bonus question, what has been your favorite accidental sound effects music cue, whether it be a mispress or you grab the wrong one? Someone else also mentioned this, I think, at some point as well. Number one, how do you keep track of them all? I
can't wait for this.
I know how I do it.
I know how I do it too, and I know for Whack to be
this
horrified.
Is going to be an argument. Actually, to be fair, I'm much better with it now. It used to be that it was just an absolutely chaotic set of files that I knew. It was like
in a folder.
It was like my childhood bedroom where I knew where everything was, but my mum would be like, "What the fuck is this? Tidy your room." And I'm like, no, don't tidy my room. I know that's it. I know that under that pile of clothes is the shirt that I want, and over there underneath that thing and in that drawer. That was how I used to do it. Now I actually have a dedicated hard drive for Tablestory sounds. And I became an adult. I grew up.
Fancy.
So I just set, there was it wasn't that long ago, like one of my hard drives died and I fixed them all. And I was like, fuck it, I'm doing it now. And one of them is just my Tablestory sounds is what it is. It's just filled with every show from, let's see, it is my F drive. No, it is my E drive, and it has the ad videos. They're just on their own drive. You know, the ones that play before the shows. It has all of my audio SFX, and that is a file that I would love for Whack to see because it is crazy the way it makes so much sense to me. But it is just everything. There are folders in here that just mean there's just a folder that says Crowd Panic, but then there's also, if you scroll down, crowdpanic.mp3. Outside of that folder in a huge set of MP3s and sound effects, there's like droid shit. I have a folder in here that says sound effects.
Yep.
Even though underneath it there's air elemental magic sword sound.fx, you know? So like
they're nestled within each other. nested.
They're just none of this stuff makes sense. But then I have the shows. I have, for some reason, I have main character. That's on here because I had to run main character once. I have non-canon, non-effort, oracles, side quest, and then the show that I do on my own channel, the Twitch Plays thing that I do on Sundays with the chat. And this is just its own dedicated thing. And in each one, I have the music and the SFX in separate folders. And then in music, I have edited and raw files. And that is just so that I can keep track of. So when we license the music, if it gets pinged by something and they're like, you don't own this, I always have the raw file that I can go to so that I can see the name it was downloaded by. So like, who the artist is. Like Kyle J. Hartman did a song called Luminance, but I probably edited it. I did a treatment to it, or I did a looping version of it or something. And then I renamed it so that to Ritual Sad. I don't know what that means.
That's what I do too.
But if I need a ritual, but it needs to have a sad, like there's rituals, and then there's like, this is kind of a sad ritual. I have ritual sad.
I
fuck knows.
Bro.
But I know in the moment, I can't listen to it. That's what's key.
As well.
The key thing that I think people might not understand here, that you might not immediately jump to, is that when you're running the production, you can't listen to that MP3 because it will just play down the thing. You can set it up, but basically you're fucked. So it comes down to, did previous me name this appropriately? So I will have shit that's just named like sneaking noir, sentimental, sad or death, ritual sad, mystery fairy cavern, lurking evil, lazy cowboy. I don't know what they mean.
The lazy
like a sex
cowboy
position.
off the top.
Oh, I hear that one.
I can't. I haven't set up the thing. But I kind of know some clue. It gives me an idea of what it is, and then I've actually named them now with the artist for the most part on all of them because I'm and then I have like all that. So that's how I do it. Now
I do it exactly the same way.
Yeah.
Like I'm down to having a SFX folder inside your SFX folder where there's other stuff like
all over the place.
Yep.
My sound effects folder is the cupboard that's like got too much stuff in it and you're hiding stuff, and when people come over you have to stand next to it, otherwise it cartoonishly explodes like everything rolls out.
But you still roughly name stuff.
No,
well, sound effects. Sound effects.
I just dumped those in.
Are quite often just dumped in. Very often, I only need a sound effect for that day, or almost every sound effect that I use. If I'm really going to make a decent sound effect, I'll edit it myself. I might get 2 or 3 sound effects that I'll download from one of our like websites that we can source from, and then I'll combo them. I'll edit it into a better sounding thing or a combination. So then I'll name it my own thing then. It'll be like laser gun, whatever. And I'm like, that's what that is. Sometimes, but like PB says, a lot of the time I don't know what it is. And it really undoes me later on when I'm like, shit, I kind of need like a weird resurrection sound. And I'll go in and I'll find like resurrection sound. And I'm like, oh, resurrection sound effect. And I'll like bring it in. Yeah. And it will play like a twinkly, happy, like beep, 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 beep. And I'm like, that has
not what I want.
This scene completely. It's just spent 2 hours building up this evil resurrection. And it was like a fairy being born, and I'm like, oh, why is it called that?
Yep.
The worst.
Yep.
It's happened to me.
Yeah.
I've done it many
times. I feel like it happened to you last night.
Yep.
Maybe on main character there was a sound that played.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't even remember what it was, but I don't.
One
shot's
are bad for it. Yeah.
Yep.
So I put pictures in the channel.
Of course. Of course.
What? This is too much.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, this is
okay. So
this is therapy.
If we're talking about like, if we're talking about like dreams, my dream would be that we would have a library that we could all access.
Yeah.
Bro, and I could just put and Whack organizes it.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
This is how I
Well,
want it to
because
look.
then it would be easy for me to go, ooh, I'm going to go grab the identity crisis theme because I'm doing something that's referencing identity crisis, you know, that kind of thing. It'd be nice.
Oh, I tell you one thing. The only time I do actually name SFX is if it's like an ambience. If it's like, there's a difference between like a sword clash .sfx and wind gusts, you know, like quiet wind in the background. So like a windy
the
cliff
loop.
ambience.
Yeah.
That stuff I make sure I either put the word ambience in, or sometimes I'll put the word extended in, just so I know that it's an extended loop. Ambience
I'll just straight
is
up label it loop if I need to.
However,
like if I have like different versions and then I've got a looping one.
To damage whack, all of my ambience and loops are just in with all my SFXs. So it's just like sword clash, wind, you know, dragon roar.
So
desert.
just to explain what my shit looks
horrifying.
like for this.
I've been building it since 2016. That's why, and I can't untangle it now.
Yeah.
It's my box of wires.
So my organization usually works like this, and I link pictures for them in our private channels. So just an example for main character. I have first of all.
This is inside main character.
This is just main character.
Yeah,
look at the
this
top.
is just main character.
Wow.
Yeah, it's too much. That's why I was like, that's too much.
Dude.
Yeah.
Because I would have like a general SFX with all that in there.
Every show to sound different. Every show
even for the
different.
sound effects, like even with the airships and stuff.
There are some overlaps. Stop making me feel bad.
Get out of here, man. No, my sound effects are the same box of sound effects since 2016. I just add to it constantly.
No, I get different shit for every show.
No, ridiculous.
There are a few that I do have running through multiple shows, but generally I get new shit for every show. So example, main character, I've got two folders, and this is primarily done because of the sound effects and music app that I use, which was made for Tablestory by Jay the Way.
Yeah. It is.
So the organizing is based on that app. So I've set this up because of the app. So it's just kind of evolved for me this way because of that. So example for main character, I have a folder for music and I have a folder for sound effects. And then it is, I'll break up the music into different folders basically for the vibe. So example.
Oh, you do by vibe?
Yeah. Airship, battle, betrayal, boss, credits, epic, happy, mystery, peaceful, sad, scary.
And then you've got like 4 or 5 different tracks underneath that. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Wait, this is music?
This is music.
I thought these were all sound effects.
The second one is.
That's stupid. You're stupid.
The second. The second folder is.
That's interesting.
Because I have so many.
Yeah.
If you look into these folders, if you see how many fucking music tracks I have and how many sound effects tracks I have to do this. Otherwise, I'm not going to find the thing that I want.
How many do you use?
I do it by episode.
Honestly.
How weird is that?
I definitely don't do it by episode.
So, but the only reason I do it this way is because, and I'll number mine as well. So like I'll have the general stuff I'm using on repeat in one folder. And then those things will be labeled like combat or whatever. Combat might have its own folder like Kingmakers did because there were many different versions of that. But if it's not a show that requires it to have its own thing, then it's just bundled in with like those main themes that I use all the time. And that folder is labeled 00. So it's up on the top. And then there's other stuff. And then if I'm doing like a one shot, I'll label 00 so that it's right there perfectly accessible for me. And then I just get rid of the zeros when I'm done and it bumps it down in the program.
Again,
so I don't know. Weird.
You have kind of a different mindset, I think, when you're making your stuff. My thinking is it's all based on the show. So I just have these general vibes that I go with. And
How
that's
it
how I
takes
organize
too
my folders.
long, dude. In this,
Well, I have
in
the general
moment.
vibes too, but I just have it organized in a like these are my base vibes, and then these are my
How are you
vibes
finding
that I've
these
added that I
when you need them in the moment? Like you need it
I'm gonna
now.
show you. I'm insane in a different way.
Well, I think I would
load up.
imagine
It took me
that
20
he just
minutes
goes,
to find
"Oh,
a
there's
song through
betrayal
all these
happening." Bam.
folders.
That's
Well, you
it
also
for
get
me,
programmed.
Brad.
You get programmed. To do
Yeah.
this.
For me, Brad, I'm with you where I need it in smaller
I need it
folders. I think.
immediately. I've got too many. Plates
Yeah,
to
or
spin.
like I'll have like if I've got like specific character, like I'm for Deathless, I'm using some music that I used in Wild RP for Delilah, and I have it in a folder called that because in the scene when it's happening and I go, I need that song, my brain associates it with Delilah, so I know immediately where to find it, and I can be listening and not really focused on what I'm finding.
I have that with stuff as well. I copy it and put it in 2 fucking places, so I can't lose it.
Oh, Jesus God.
Yes, I do the same thing, but also I just mean when I'm finding it during the show, I need it to be in something that my brain will immediately associate it. So that way I can be fucking listening to what they're saying and while still scanning, and then I see it and I can just do it out of habit, you know? But yeah.
What the fuck is this?
This is the app, Brad.
Yeah.
This
You don't
is
use
not
this
the
one,
app?
Brad?
No, what am I using?
Something different.
You might be using Classy Pads, which he also made.
That's all I use.
Yeah. Yep. I use Classy Pads for like personal stream, but the sound effects live for Tablestory stuff is so good.
You wonder how I did episode 1 of main character?
This.
I was using positional audio, that circle that's in the middle there.
Mm-hmm.
I was playing music tracks over there, you know, like in the distance.
Yep.
By placing them closer to the edge of the circle. So
But
I'd have a music track.
too.
Bro, I'm using Winamp.
Yeah. For the like
that was good.
sounds so that they
That was Polygeek's joke. I can't claim it as a good one though.
But yeah, so that's the way I've got my music laid out, and then sound effects are kind of similar. It's kind of just the vibe again. So I'll have the vibe of a sound effects. I'm like, oh, they're going into caverns. Let me make sure I've got the caverns folder open.
Yeah,
that's kind of
I just
how that
literally
works.
just search it up and find it. That is crazy to me though. Like that's too much.
Yeah.
By the way, I do find I often do find new sound effects for new shows and stick to those, but I just throw them into the same folder. And then if I need to, I can pull sound effects. Because like a sword strike doesn't need to sound different in this show than from the last one. So I don't bother. Not that I really use that much, but as a, you know, swords hitting each other sounds the same. No one cares. Unless it's like really uniquely different in some way. So I've never been too bothered about that kind of thing. Spells, I think, is probably something I would focus on more.
Yeah.
Spells, I think, can definitely sound unique.
I think music track wise, I typically have 3 to 7 tracks in each of those folders.
That's too many. Answer my question. How many do you use?
I'm about to tell you. I'm in the process of telling you right now.
Over the course of the show. You download 100 songs. How many do you think you use?
All of them at some point.
No way, dude.
Yeah, I've most likely use every song at least once. Sometimes I will download the song, listen to my playlist, and then say that song doesn't fit in this, and then I won't use it. So don't count that. That's been vetoed from the list.
That's what I'm talking about.
Shit.
I'm talking about every song you download. How many
not
do you
a
think
lot.
you use?
I would say maybe 5 to 10 at the most. Something like that I ditch. It's not that many.
Oh.
And then the sound effects, I've got a lot. And it varies. So if it's like battle stuff, I've got a fuck ton in the battle folder. If it's magic, I've got a fuck ton in the magic. And specifically for main character, I tried to do it, but Frank, I think, was the only one that actually did it. Was I gave everybody like the magic effects that I was like, this is what I imagine your character's effects sound like. And I gave everybody the, dude, everybody's got a fucking Go XLR. Only Frank was fucking doing it. I had to take
Player
over
mentality.
for the
Player mentality is whatever that is the same part of their little bullshit tiny little bean brains, and they can't be wrangled like cats, and they won't show up at the right time. And sorry, player mentality.
You right?
Let me let the now that was the interim mid question.
Okay.
Thank you, Anonymous, for the tenor.
Thank you, Anonymous.
Yes, thank you.
And while I get to the next bit, Wax Steven's going to emotionally blackmail you.
No.
Please, everyone. God, we're trying to keep Tablestory together. Don't you understand? We've got pets. We're trying our best to feed them. Do you love us? Do you love us?
My God.
Do you love our work?
Oh my God.
We need your help. Sweet mother of God, we need the tips. Keep us alive. I feel physical pain by not having $10 every 5 seconds. Tip to the channel. If you don't tip, we're going to die.
Ironically, I would have played some sad music under that, but we couldn't afford it. One of
Brad
the
had
things
it in the wrong folder.
One of the things we have to spend money on is all these sound effects and pieces of music that you're hearing us talk about right now. It is one of the major expenses for the channel, I would say.
Yeah. And if we get $5 really
right now.
Thank you, Anonymous, for
we'll
the
get
$20
a custom
to
OST
save
made.
the cats. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
I mean,
oh, my cat was here, and now he's gone.
Okay, my dog was here, and now
need
he's gone.
$5 for
Yep.
Petey's cat to reappear.
Mine too.
So, continuing with the actual question in the exploring musical themes, April Rain said, and we sort of half answered this, but I think that it does go a little deeper. When creating a show, at what stage do you explore the musical theme? Which we did talk about, but what are the main mood music or sound effects that you would source initially? Example, comedy music, suspense music, monster weapon, SFX and stuff. I think we sort of half answered this, so we sort of bundled a lot of this into one.
Thank you so much, Pearly Platypus, for
always,
the 10. Nerd, thank you so much for the 15. Poor Whack. Geek Dice, thank you for the 25. Pets eat first.
She let you there. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
That was very kind of PB to let you...
to just stop speaking.
Let you thank the people actually providing their hard-earned cash and supporting the channel there rather than speaking over.
Is it enough to keep us alive? We'll find out by the end of this.
Oh my God.
Thank you so much for the support, everyone. What were you saying, PB?
Oh, I've forgotten entirely.
I will remind you of the question.
Thank you. Yes.
Specifically, what do you source initially? Comedy music, suspense music, monster weapon, SFX, that kind of thing. What's the initial part?
Always get yourself a staccato sneak song, but that's generic enough that you can use it for a comedic moment as well. I always fucking forget that. I have the ungodly theme, obviously, but I can't use it in any other show. But there are moments when people are just being fucking ridiculous, and you want to underscore the shit out of that.
I have 4 of them.
Don't forget it. Yeah, don't forget it.
I quite often forget, not like a sentimentally sad one, but like a devastating one where someone's dead, like a character has died.
Well, that's the first thing I do.
I somehow forget it all the time because I'm not thinking about them dying ever. I'm always thinking about like the story and the journey they're going to go on and the places that they will visit and that kind of thing. And like, I don't think about like the random curveballs that can come in. And one of the only times I really thought about it and found a really good sort of sad death theme was for Side Quest, and it was one of the funniest scenes in the whole show. And I had this amazing fucking music, and then just ruined a character death along with the rest of the cast. Laughed it out the door.
Yeah. Yeah, it was unreal. I was like, is this happening right now?
I do generic stuff first. So I find like what I need is a safety net. I hate being up shit creek without the song that you need in that scene. So you have to find a generic theme that can sit under any conversation. Just
this is key. The underscoring,
it doesn't
right?
matter what they're talking about, but it's a normal conversation. It doesn't sway the tone of the scene in any way. It has to be very neutral, because music will completely affect how they play the scene, and you don't want to infect them if you don't for certain scenes. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you're like, fucking take it seriously, and you play a PB droney song and you give that to Greg, and he runs an episode for you, and they do actual RP, and it's entirely based on the fact that he says the words, play that PB drone song. And then they do actual role play for the first time 15 episodes in. But you know, if you play like a song that even has a slightly comedic edge, they'll suddenly start playing the scene. If you play it with a little sentimentality to it, suddenly they get into their backstories and how they were brought up in an orphanage. So you have to be, I think that can be quite a hard one to find, like a very neutral song. I try and find a generic neutral song. I try and find a comedy song, like you said, like a staccato, something like that works for comedy sneaking too. I often try and find a serious sneaking.
Yes, always.
Like
and then like a serious sneak tension where they add a little bit of the
danger,
tension
lurking
is a big one.
Sounds like Pink Panther.
You got but a Pink Panther works.
All stealth tracks are based off of Pink Panther. Essentially.
It's really, I think it's actually one of the hardest things to find is a sneaking song that isn't a comedy sneaking one. Because if you put the word sneaking in, it will give you
automatically
you don't want to do sneak. I was just gonna say, so
and you're like, this isn't what I need it to be, like tonal, like
danger. So when you're searching, those who are like actually looking for searching advice instead of general advice, for that one you want to do either slow tension or ambient tension. That will get you good sneaking music that isn't necessarily the Pink Panther. If you want to search like staccato, that will help you find something that's got that kind of like rhythmic is another good one, like rhythmic sneak or something like that. Or just avoid the word sneak. Tension is a good one. What was the other one that you said, Brad? When you're looking for like music for a show to some of the keywords to look for on most of these aggregate sites that you license music from.
Mr. Greg's tipped $5. Interrupt PB again, please. Thank you.
Oh, wow. That was perfect timing.
Deciduous, thank you for the 10. Mike Steven, emotional blackmail was too strong.
Not strong enough. We haven't hit the next subject yet, and we are about to run out of road. So,
okay.
We need to keep interrupting PB just to keep her treading water on this subject.
Oh, it's okay.
To be fair.
I'm good. I don't
She's
know
already
what
forgotten the rest.
What was I saying? I think I was just giving tips on
you
what
were giving
to
tips
look
on
for.
specific
It's
search
fine.
tags.
It's no big deal.
Search tags, and you were saying,
well, because we give general advice, but I realized
you want
that they might want something a little bit more specific. So
it's hard. And
that's
it comes
what it was.
with like years of searching. Carry on.
Yeah, and finding this stuff out, and so don't mind sharing, that knowledge. But one that you would want to make sure when you're looking for like your music or your like themes or whatever, you can have like your intro theme, or you can have a theme that you play while your players are like sitting down at your table or whatever it is, and you've got that going, which can have like a pretty strong vibe melody. So think of like, the music that we play during the starting soon in between like the reels and stuff like that. So that's always, kind of got a melody to it. And then you're like, I don't know if you're going to do a theme for a show, but we do, right? So then that one has a strong melody and a drive and all that stuff. But when you're looking for stuff for shows, you want to search for like words like score or underscore or ambient or, low, even just putting low in there, and then the mood, and then you'll get the thing that you're looking for, because otherwise you're going to just find music that has a strong melody that's going to distract from the scene, and it's not actually like
alternatively a score. It'll do a thing where, especially if you're using a site that doesn't let you snip and take a particular part of it, it will often crescendo up, because most songs do.
Yeah.
Most songs begin with like an interesting beat, and then they add in another melody, and then it crescendos up and becomes a full like 3-minute song. But when you play that for an hour, it's mind-numbingly intrusive, because it just every 3 minutes it will disappear again underneath the scene, and then it will build up, and then it will disappear again, and then it will build up. So the way to avoid it is, like PB says, either search for things that have that, or simply look at the waveforms when you're looking at the piece of music. Waveforms are the thing. Usually most websites will have it. You can also just bring it into like a software and look at it. But waveforms are the little curves that are along the song. So when you're looking at the song, when you hit play on it or something like that, it will show you like a bunch of little wobbles. Those waveforms, if that looks like the same shape throughout, it's probably going to be a really good piece of music for a bed. If you're finding something that's like combat or intense, you know, like hurry up music and like chase music and stuff, it usually doesn't matter if it goes up and down a bit more. But I think for just music that you want to sit underneath scenes, tension, generic conversational music, something that you want to repeat, that could be repeated for an hour, 2 hours, 4 hours, you know, that just sits under a longer part of your show or game. Look at those waveforms and just make sure that they remain similar or flat or low. And if it looks like kind of the same shape the whole way along, it doesn't mean the song will be the same. That's not indicative of what the actual song is doing. It just shows you how much it peaks, so that when it's supposed to sit underneath a scene, it doesn't interrupt the scene or just suddenly get louder and get shorter.
Speaking of interrupt the scene, Miramok, thank you so much for the $10.
Thank you.
Head out, but take my money. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh.
I think that is another one for me. That's another one where post-production brain kicked in, and I was like, I've got to find these.
When he says bed, that's also synonymous for like base or like the floor of the scene.
Yeah, bed of music. I just realized
when you said that, I was like, oh, I know what that means, but
it's just a piece of music that you want to sit underneath the focal point, which is usually the dialogue or the narration or whatever, the scene, and you want it to sit quietly in the background. You don't want it to necessarily influence the scene too much. With combat, you quite often want it to influence the scene. So you want it to have this like driving sound. You want it to have like an impact on the reaction. You want it to influence the characters or the player characters to be like, oh yeah, energizing, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah. But beds of music I find are less so.
Or another thing that you can do, like, is I will do this more predominantly for like combat than I will for anything else, but you can also just, you know, get Audacity or whatever, you know, editing program that you use.
PB's got a lot of Audacity as well. So
yes, I do.
She's got plenty to share around.
So much. And you can clip like the first part of the song and make it loopable by, you know, crossfading or actually finding the beat if you want to do that. But like
my World of Warcraft guild.
Yeah, you could do it in a way in which it, you know, it crossfades in a way that it's not noticeable. And then that way you've got a looping version of the track.
My World of Warcraft guild is
and then
not noticeable.
And then you've got another version of the track which has the
last second there.
Full thing. Or you can do the like loopable bottom part, and then you just
bottom is the name of my autobiography.
You do the loopable bed, okay, and then you can switch to you can cut it so that the epic part of the song is cut separately. You just have that, and then you just switch which song you're playing. Right. Sometimes it's more obvious than the other, but then you've got the battle music looping for 15 minutes, and then when the battle ends, you hit the end of it, and it gets epic and swells, and then ends, and then you're good. And
I've got
that's all
that
from one
gets
song.
Epic and swells and then ends.
I tried. There's like one person that's listening to this that's like, actually, you know,
I know one person's like desperately trying to take notes. They're like, and then god damn it, and then so 3.2 decibel. Oh geez, and just the worst.
Oh, another question I get a lot, actually, since we are talking about sound and that this is helping, is the bathroom club music in Blade Runner that went from normal to inside the bathroom, and that's just high pass, which you can also do in Audacity. Just fuck around with high pass, low pass.
I thought you were about to play like a bathroom track.
Yeah, I didn't know where you were going with that either.
No. Oh, no. I had,
I thought
there
you
was
were going to do one of these.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Oh, it's still going.
Yeah, he's actually peeing into a bottle. For anyone listening, audio only. I mean, getting into editing for actually treating audio officially and like messing with high passes and low passes, or like I did it with Star Wars so much where I had to treat so much audio to give it that actual polish. That's a whole different.
Yeah, and before we had this, crazy program, before we had this program that Jay the Way made us.
I don't have this program, by the way, that they have.
Yes, you do.
You just never
don't use it.
I don't recall ever being shown it. That doesn't mean I wasn't.
Find that later.
100% showed it to you.
I don't
recommended
we
it
were
to
all
you.
In the same call.
And you just were like, nope. I'm not going to choose to hear this information. Or remember it.
So anyway, before we had this program, you can also do left to right. So if you want to do positional audio, you can have it, pull up Audacity or whatever.
My favorite
and
use
do
for
left
that
ear
is for
or right ear, and then
freaky stuff.
Yes,
because it fucks with people. Because it's a nice way to just activate. I think it's good for horror. And
it's really good for
stuff because it just activates your amygdala. You're just like,
hold on, I gotta find this fucking sound effect and play it here. Hold on, it's my favorite ever, and it's just a weird warping siren, and I can't. Anyway, keep talking
for the 50.
When I find it, I'll play it here.
This is my favorite sound effect.
Yeah, knew that.
Okay. Well, we're actually on to the next question, PB, so you're not allowed to play that sound effect because we're moving off of the subject.
You cannot tell me what to do. Thank you so much.
Oh my God, we can't save you. We don't know where you are. She's directly underneath us.
Okay.
I thought we were just playing our favorite sound.
No, I'm not okay with what you just did.
God, that was a day, dude. That was such a bad day. Oh.
I don't even want to know.
Spilled my coffee all over myself. That's what just happened there. And then and then my apartment floods, and then the maintenance people come to check on the flooding, and my cat runs out, and I run out after my cat, but because I had poured coffee all over myself, I had taken some of my clothes off, right? So then I bend over to pick up my cat, and I'm 99% sure the maintenance people saw my fucking ass cheek, bro. We'll never forget it. Okay, no, let's not. If we could not, that would be awesome. Also, so everybody knows that Stevie Ray Dron, who's done some art and stuff for us here on Tablestory and stuff.
Your ass
she's
too?
No, she's my neighbor, or was my neighbor.
Yes.
And she's now moved. So we were moving her stuff on her moving day recently, this last weekend, and ran into the maintenance guy in the elevator, and then he left, and I was like, that's the one, by the way. And she was like, no, now I know exactly. I could just fill the story out. Oh no.
I love that the padding for PB to find the sound effect just became PB telling a story, and then she didn't find the sound effect.
Yep, I just forgot about it because Wack played the one that sent me time traveling. What am I supposed to do?
All right, moving on to the next question from Monk. It says not SFX related, and if asked for Paul,
I found it.
I almost knew that was how you were going to find it, so that's why I did that. Go.
Yeah. Okay.
Play the sound effect.
Hold on, I have to hit the button. I hope this is the right button. You guys hear that?
Yeah, it's really good. It's a really good sound effect.
You can't hear it at all, can you? All right, hold on. Rooting. There we go. Still can't hear it?
Yeah.
Oh, I can hear it.
We can hear it.
Oh,
We just don't react to anything like you.
Sirens going left and right.
Yeah, it's just they're going back and forth, but it's also just a weird This is not how they actually sound. This is slow. I slowed this down. It's just weird. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I like it.
New folder 23/junk 47.
Yep. That's exactly right.
Physical pain.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. What other ones do I have in here?
I feel like did you say you made that sound?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm pretty sure.
Or like I grabbed it and then I edited it. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that it is provable that that is a sound effect from the game Future Cop LAPD on the PlayStation 1, released in 1998.
Send me
in which you pilot the X1 Alpha, which was a police car that could transform from like a hovering police car into a mech. Do you remember that game? It was so good.
I feel like so here's what I do remember. I feel like you've said that on stream before and you showed it on your stream and I remember that, but I don't remember the fucking.
Okay, well that sound effect
what
is from
it?
that game. Future Cop LAPD, PlayStation 1, 1998.
Okay.
I'm Gen Z. I was born in 2005, but I played all those like retro games.
Mm-hmm.
And that sound effect is from it. Now, is it? No. But did it remind me of it? Yes. So, who knows? We'll all find out.
On the topics.
We're
talking about storylines for mini
topic.
shows.
I'm not going to get this next sentence out. Just let her finish the thought before.
Well, it was more just like, do I want to play this? Because what could this possibly be?
Then no. Next question is from Monk.
Don't do that.
Monk says, not SFX related, and it's asked before, please ignore. I've not made it to all the non-efforts. First of all, it doesn't have to be SFX related. It doesn't have to be anything related, and Discord went down. Did it go down for anyone else? Am I still streaming? Okay,
yes.
good.
Still streaming?
Yes. Yep.
Discord, it looks like it's still up for me.
All right, I'll pull it up on my phone. Come on, Discord. Yes, thank God. This happened to me the other day. My stream was dead.
Folder of Brad sounds.
All right, well, you definitely can't play those. I mean, don't tell anyone I sent you those. Monk says, question. What made you choose the themes and storylines of the actual shill shows, the effort parts in between the non-effort episodes, for these smaller, less serious shows, over developing them into full-blown campaigns? I mean,
oh my
could
God.
they have been developed into full-blown
This is a good question.
Tablestory show? Was it an active choice not to do so, or were they inherently missing something to make them a good fit? Most of them were a bit off the narrative-driven style of Tablestory shows like Don't Die and Defend the Gates, and maybe left a little less room for character development, but all of them were insanely fun to watch. There also seemed a lot of room to expand the stories if intended for a different format. And this is interesting because we now finally, all three of us, have finished a run of short form Friday shill show narrative shows, mine was the pilot show. Non-canon was the pilot show, in which I went into it so blind, no idea if it was going to work. We didn't know if it was going to make us any money. We didn't know if it was going to be interesting, if people were going to like hate that it was shorter or what. We have only 3 players, or 2 players, 1 GM, which is a little different as well. I went into it the same way I go into everything, in that I came up with a narrative thing, but mostly built it around the concept of people being able to be involved in a monetary way. Like the tips would affect the game in some way. And so I kind of had, I remember it being extremely stressful. It was also stressful because I was super sick and dying and really unwell and really just struggling in life to wake up in the morning and not be like,
it was also a huge change for us too, right? Because Whack had been running the once a month shill show like since Tablestory's inception, right, Whack?
Pretty much.
Yeah, it was a huge departure from that.
We also now all have to work on a Friday night. Well, for me, it's a Friday night.
Yeah.
For you guys, a Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
We've now worked every Friday for a year, almost, which is an additional. For the person running the show, it's more than an additional afternoon of work. It's another day of work. The person running the show, like for now already, I'm like stressing because I'm building the next one. And it's crazy how much your time in your week just goes, and you're like trying to find an hour here. I have to find an hour here for side quests, an hour there for the upcoming show. This my own stream. I've got to do this other thing. I've got to go buy shopping. I've got an electrician coming. All those things. You suddenly lose a little bit of time. But in terms of like building the show, I don't know. For me, I think because I was the test subject show and the pilot show, I just had a pretty solid idea of what I wanted to do straight away, which was the two bars, the dark bar and the light bar filling, and then those influencing the show based on which one has more money, is more filled, and and then we sort of workshopped together a little bit how that might work, and then I went away and came up with a narrative around that with the libraries and stuff, and came up with the story. And then I just thought it would be very interesting to have like a multiversal thing. It wasn't necessarily multiversal, in the canon of non-canon.
I think it was when we originally, talked about the idea for a Friday show. I think that was
have it be like
kind of the vibe. We were like, do sliders and it'll be non-canon, and that's the whole meme of it, and then
I just made
and
it
then
into
Brad
the
went
books
away and
that are in
wrote
the
something
libraries.
amazing. Yeah.
Because I thought that would be fun.
Thank
It
you for
also
the 15
means
silicone. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Also means that we had it basically, for me, I wanted to free up the ability to not constantly be like rewriting canon of all of our shows. I didn't want to invade stuff. It needed to be non-canon so that it didn't potentially destroy the shows. Ironically, I think it
was perfect.
It does. Some of the episodes in that are canon. You know what I mean? Like we canonized a lot of it, and I think that does exist within our greater Tablestory universe, multiverse, situation that we like to play with. But for me, that was really it. In terms of active choice of making them like larger or smaller shows or whatever, I didn't really feel that. I had to extend that show longer anyway, just because we changed the whole scheduling of how we were approaching this year. So we pushed the show a bit further. It was supposed to, we only planned to do that for a few weeks, and then we did it for ages. I can't remember how many episodes of that was, but it was way longer than I expected for it. So
16 or 17, I think.
For me, I think I stretched it very
ironically thin. That math is the correct math, and we just fucked up somewhere, and Whack and I ran 8 instead of whatever we were supposed to run, 16.
I don't know if we would want to do 16 in a row anyway.
No. But I
think we had a bunch of different ideas, and honestly, a lot of it kind of just came from panic because we were really in dire straits for money, and we just had to kind of come up with a plan. And
I'd say it was a Hail Mary.
Yeah, it was. And
here we are. It's
it was.
Please subscribe. Please give us a tip. That show, I stretched it thin, in my opinion, from my perspective. If I had known it would be 16 weeks, I wouldn't have stretched it thin because I would have prepared for it. Technically, I think I could run that show for an infinite amount of episodes. Because
it's a good setup.
There's just
for
an
that,
endless amount of ways that you could do it. The things that made it more difficult for me was like scheduling stuff, deciding whether to make it an original story for that week or set it in one of our other settings, have it be really like close to the story, or have it be just like in one of the worlds and it's referenced and that kind of thing. So mine was a little different to you. I think you two can have more of an apples to apples conversation here between Don't Die and Defend the Gates. And also, I think when you look at non-canon versus Don't Die and Defend the Gates, you two really gamified the approach. Like they feel like one's a roguelike and one's a tower defense.
When I was doing the shill shows like once a month, the hardest part about doing that was coming up with a new fucking idea every month. And it was like, is it going to be a board game? Is it going to be D&D? What made us money, the last time? What, what is interesting? If I run a board game we've done before, it's less work, but are we going to make any money? Do people want to watch that? I know that like people like to watch us just hang out. And that's part of the appeal of this show, right? Is we're just kind of chilling and talking about various subjects and whatnot. And we're just kind of relaxing and also imparting some knowledge. But there's that element of like hangout, and people like to be included in a hangout. But does that make us money? Like there's a difference that I don't think a lot of people realize when you're a content creator is like, what do people want to watch? And then, like, what do people tip me for, like, when I'm doing a stream? Those aren't necessarily the same thing.
Yeah.
And when we're doing these shows, the goal is to make money. Like, we have to keep the channel alive. And sometimes we have to sacrifice.
Much not the goal for our other shows.
Right. We just want to tell a good story.
Yeah,
which I think
we just want to tell a good story with our shows.
That consistency is very different. Yeah, for us, and even for a lot of other like we don't.
Well, that was something that we talked about, wasn't it? Like, do we want to? Because the original idea was, well, let's just run a show then, But that show is the only show that we kind of monetize or whatever. And then the conversation went to, well, how do we make sure that people understand that this is literally just to keep the channel going, and there's no. None of our other shows are in danger of that, because that's always been something that we have felt very strongly about, is like, we don't want, we don't want shit necessarily on the screen. We don't want alerts going. We don't, we
don't thank anyone or anything, which is hard.
It's very hard.
I feel real bad about it, because, we all do daily streams. And I go out, there's nothing worse than if you like miss one and your stream ends or something and you're like, oh, I didn't say thank you to that person. I feel bad. I'm sure they don't really care, but it's like, I do feel guilt about it. And on Tablestory, we've always wanted the show to be its own thing. It is like, it isn't a stream, it's its own contained little episode. And it is unspoiled by external things to the best of our abilities. So that it's a pure
we don't even run the fucking Twitch ads that we're supposed to run.
Yeah,
and by supposed to run, I mean that would get us more money, but we don't. We have it on the lowest setting, if not off, right?
Right.
Like that, we can't turn them off because Twitch won't let us anymore. So, but we have it completely.
And there's like reasons behind why we do that stuff. Like we figured out, like, oh, okay, the way that the Twitch ads run is they want you to do this. I think it's like once an hour you have to do it, or once every half hour.
They want 3 to 5 minutes every 45 minutes.
Yeah. So like we have to plan that stuff out. We have to think like, okay, what is going to end up happening? Is there a way that we can run these ads that's not that intrusive? And what's happening when we don't do it? So like we had to think about all those things where it was along the lines of, hey, if we leave these off, how much money are we losing if we do that? And is it enough that it justifies any of this stuff? So there's a lot of, give and take that we have to figure out for a lot of these shows. And ultimately we wanted to have like an immersive experience. But when we do that, we do lose money.
We're bad at that too, because all three of us care more. None of us are the business shark. So we'll get a situation where it's like, well, they're gonna run ads, and this is how much money you'll make, and we're like, don't care. We're like, no, that'll ruin the vibe of the show.
But it does. I think
we need that business shark.
One of the things that makes us feel even worse about doing like this show or something and being like, hey, please tip, because we're like, God, we have to kind of make up for what is essentially a monetary loss on all of the shows we've ever run.
Yes.
We're running them all at a loss.
And just to chime in on that, especially like on shorter run shows, we typically lose a lot of money for that kind of a show, because we have to pay for art, we got to pay for music, we got to do that. And if we do a short show, the amount of work that you have to do for a short show is way more overall than a long form show.
Yeah, because you're using the assets
still
wanna, for less time.
Yeah.
I will say as well, though, like people, one of the things is this isn't just a Twitch show. It is just, it broadcasts on Twitch, and we might reference like chat once or twice or whatever, but a lot of people will watch this on VODs on other platforms like YouTube, or will listen to it in audio form on the varying podcast sites and stuff. So when you're like constantly interrupting that to thank things or bring up stuff in the that might be happening, you know, in the chat rooms or with tips or subs and stuff like that. In 3 years, when you're listening to the podcast version of one of the shows, it's insane to hear and incredibly intrusive. And we specifically, all three of us have always agreed that we want, like, that we all agree on immersion. We're desperate to try and make it immersive. And it's a really weird thing to go.
I think it's a rare trio. You know, like we've talked about this before,
many people
but
do it.
Yeah, creatively we might approach things differently, but when it comes down to the heart of what we're trying to do, all three of us are in perfect alignment.
And it's the worst possible way to run, I feel like, in this industry. Like, this industry is the opposite. They don't want you. You're supposed to be maximizing all monetization. You're supposed to be maximizing all ad opportunities, and you're supposed to be basically doing everything as unethically as possible. And we try and do it as ethically as we can. And it's hard. It's really hard to do.
Yeah.
And that is, I mean, we went off on a bit of a tangent here, but it's what led us round to hitting money issues. We ran into severe, like we were all running
some
into
of that is our own fault, because we basically stopped doing shill shows during 2 years of COVID and just ate through the Tablestory savings because we felt bad about asking people for money during COVID.
Yeah. We didn't recover from that until the end of last year. Well, not the end of last year, but now. And we were in dire straits. We just sort of we had to make a change somewhere, and we had a lot of conversations about it, and we went through basically about a year's worth of meetings and different ideas, and spitballing different ideas and considering different routes for ads, or finding sponsors, or looking at outsourcing things and loans and like Amazon Primes and shit, like all these different ways of potentially monetizing it. But many of them came down to us all kind of not feeling comfortable in our gut about what would essentially be like selling a portion of the Tablestory brand and losing a good amount of that control over the way we like to do things, which is predominantly not actually monetizing, you know, every aspect of our shows. So then we decided to, I think the initial concept was just monetize Oracle's Rest. We were like, what if we just ran Oracle's Rest and put a spin wheel in the corner?
I do remember feeling like I had to convince you guys to try this. To be like, all right, let's do, you know, let's just do Oracle's Rest because it's chill and we can have a good time, and you know, it's friendly, and it's not nobody's necessarily in cosplay, even though some of us would do cosplay. It's just visually, it's very clear. It's just a bunch of friends sitting down. Story might happen. We're gonna laugh. We're gonna make jokes. It's gonna be very casual, and people loved Oracle's Rest. Like, you know, it was like one of the things. Please bring this back. We're so excited. I'd love to get to see this every week because it's just you guys shooting the shit and having a good time. And so, I think there was also a need there.
I wouldn't rule it out becoming a permanent Friday fixture one day.
Yeah, one day. Yeah. But like the thing is like, you know, because I know that we've talked about other things as well. Like we started doing cold opens instead of the long, where we would say hi and then dive in. Like if you go back and watch Darkfire, we talk for like 5-10 minutes before we get in to the game. Or at the end of each episode we would talk, and we would have breaks. We would have like a 10-minute break because our shows used to be 3 hours long. And so we saw a lot of our personalized us that isn't in GM mode, and also our players that aren't in player mode. We saw a lot of that go away when we switched to that more immersive style. And so you guys have been talking about missing those aspects of it. I miss you guys just shooting the shit, or I miss this portion. So there was clearly also a need or a desire from the community to have a more casual game. So then we were like, well, why don't we do that, the casual game? But then our casual game is also just like us being like, hey, if you like us and you like what we do, and that we're doing hours and hours and hours of content for you, and you want to throw $5 our way, you do it on this show, on this Friday show. And then Whack doesn't have to do, the crazy work that he would do every time while running 3 shows or 2 shows or whatever, and come up with a game every month. And it's like,
it was killing
me.
It was
really, I could see it, dude. I could see it, and I was like, "This is enough."
But also, we were on the ropes. Like we were literally like monetarily on the ropes. Like non-canon saved the channel. Really, it was.
Well, you guys saved the channel.
Everyone,
like the community chain, saved the channel. But yeah,
coming together, and but through a specific because we've never actively monetized outside of the chill shows.
Yeah.
I'll never answer that question.
Was that boba?
No, just water in a straw.
Oh, okay.
I wish it was.
I thought I could hear the boba.
Yeah, no. Just sorry, my bad.
But I think if we hadn't done something like that last year, we would have this channel might not even be here. Almost certainly wouldn't, I would say. And it is obviously it's entirely down
Curly
to
for
people
the
like Curly Platypus.
Yeah.
And everybody that has given us some cold hard cash tonight, and over the Fridays of the last year, I don't know when
about a year.
It was
about a year.
September-ish.
Yeah.
September.
Coming up to a year.
Almost a year. The other thing too is like the community has been so good about constantly being like, hey, let us support you. Give us more ways to do that.
Yeah.
And we're just so averse to asking or, being like, hey guys, yep.
Well, it's also hard because
this
everything is work. It's not entirely an aversion. It's just that like the best ways to monetize the best ways to monetize our shows has been like additional content, like providing an additional thing, providing a supplement, providing
just do this or just do that, and it's like that's like 30 hours more work, and right now
so much
unless I get paid I literally cannot do any more.
Even like it's just people, we bang on about it a lot, but the only side of this that you see are the hours that we're on screen, and there are so many hours.
Just outside of that.
On subject for sound effects and music, the hours, I would love to know. I wish I could just ask a fucking celestial chat GPT that was like exactly how many hours of me, Whack, and PB combined spent looking for music since Tablestory started in 2016. That number has to be astronomical. I know that mine is crazy alone. Yours have to be equal, if not more. It's wild. And that is work hours. You know what I mean?
It is.
It's crazy.
Before a new show, I would say I probably spend 2 weeks looking for music.
I'm actually dreading it for this upcoming Friday show. Because I'm like, when am I going to do this? PB was like, hey, it's really bad, but the only time we can run Draconim is on Tuesday. And I was like, oh, I was like, I mean, the players will be really upset.
I actually, hold on.
And I was oh my God, I'm so, again, another couple of hours to just work on this.
Thank you, Anonymous, for the 20 for the next year, and Anonymous for another 20.
Thank you.
I have to tell the story truthfully, chat, because it's super cool. So originally, for the Drakenham show, if you guys didn't know, that's on Tuesday. Very, very excited. 3 p.m. Eastern. We're running a one shot, but they had reached out to me and they had said, like our exciting launch day is on Tuesday, August the 5th. And I emailed back after having already talked to them and getting excited about, fucking dragons and dragon ponding and like, I just love everything about it. Then they hit me with the date and I was like, oh no, we already have a show on Tuesday. So I emailed them and was like, I'm sorry, we can't, can't, because I immediately was like, there's a show on Tuesday, it's not happening. And then I sent a message to these guys in our little like group chat and I think both Brad and Whack almost instantly were like, what are you talking about? Just run it on Tuesday. Like, what? You're being silly. And then I was like, oh, yay, I get to run my dragon show because Brad is letting us do it on Tuesday instead of, being like, yeah, no. But yeah, people think that that's not how it goes, but it be how it goes.
Since we're running out of time and we haven't actually answered this question.
Jesus.
Not really,
okay.
But we can.
Progress. Oh, I did have an answer for it.
Yeah. Well, I let me reframe it because we've been off on so many tangents. Because we basically there's two parts to this because the question was around these Friday shows and stuff, and I think that the way that I approached non-canon. God, I wish we hadn't called this non-effort, by the way, because that's what's happening in my brain. Whenever I go to say non-effort or non-canon, I go for one or the other. When I did non-canon, it was a bit like a pilot, a bit of a test, and I approached it differently to, I think, the way that you guys approach Don't Die and Defend the Gates.
Yeah.
So the question was like, one thing that I think is interesting is both of you did go a little away from the narrative-driven thing and made them, I feel like, more gamified. And it made maybe left a little less room for character development, but all of them were insanely fun to watch. There seemed like room to expand the stories if intended for a different format. I think both of you took the same approach in that it was intended to be reusable, right? Just to cover that part. Which I think is you did.
Could you put that in text so that I can read it? Because there was something. Can you just copy paste that question in here?
But they were different. And I don't know if you intended for them to be a bit more narrative driven. I know that me and PB kept jamming scenes in to Defend the Gates, and I was watching Whack with his little egg timer getting stressed every time something. He'd be like, okay, it's your turn in combat, and then me and Davey would be like, and that was when they took my wife and child from me. And then you know, Whack would be like, oh my fucking god, you need to take your turn in combat. Because that's part of GMing sometimes, especially with the shows and the pacing and the times, and I would imagine for the two of you, you watched me go through non-canon and have the same approach of there's a new element that we have never had to account for.
Thank you, Monk, for the $100. Thank you.
Oh my lord!
We are answering your question. I promise, Monk. We will get there. But there's a new element involved in that you have a spin wheel or a bar or a different interruption that you must account for, which I tried to account for as well, but I was going in relatively blind. Is that why you went with this approach and tried to make it more gamified, or did you have? What was the process, I guess, for each of them?
I'll go first. Give PB some time to read the question again.
He's very slow reader.
The whole process, the process with Defend the Gates was that number one, I just wanted to do something different, and that's usually my approach with most of my shows. Is I want to give us space to do other things, and D&D does great for us. I mean, it just does. Yeah. I mean, there's a reason why it's, the number one most played tabletop role-playing game. And that's great. And I like running D&D, but I don't like running it every time. I get bored of running the same shit. So I need to change it up for me. but also I like to give us some space where we're running different things. So when I made the show, I was like, what haven't we done? And what can I monetize? So when I went back and I looked at some of the stuff that I've done on shill shows, I did that gotcha game, which took so much time to work on. And I did that and I was like, okay, I can't run it again. I could see. I watched chat react to things. I watched like what our tips were, what we were bringing in for those shows. And I couldn't keep running that. So when I made this show, I approached Brad and PB and I was like, what do you think about this idea? And then they both said, that sounds really good. And that's why I went with it.
Yep.
That's pretty much what happened.
Yeah.
And I felt
well,
like
it's a great concept, you know, if you just put it.
It's an incredible concept. Also, I'm annoyed you did it for the show, but because like I want to see a full long.
We said several times that we would watch a long form version of Defend the Gates, and actually,
I don't think it works.
And
I think it would.
I think it could,
better.
but I think it could work. Yeah,
I think it would work better.
It just depends on, are you keeping the monetization in, or is it totally random then? You know, because I think you could adjust that to not. Yeah,
whatever the
Defend the Gates is so good,
approach to gaining things like chaos modes and stuff is. Doesn't matter as long as there's an RNG element. I guess you could just pick them up, like they could get them on their expeditions and stuff. But I actually think that the 8 weeks that we had felt like a lot of the time you had to kind of like compress a lot of things, like quickly rush us through like a scene or a fight or whatever.
Complicated mechanics.
Yeah, but those complicated mechanics stretched out over a longer period of time.
Yeah. Would be
letting them really like not. We were just like, throw a chaos mote over this, fix that. If you just did away with that ability and it was much slower, like they knew the front gates were broken and they had to. Now the episode is they have to send them out, or they have to go out on an expedition themselves they have to get a chaos mote, and there are only certain ways you can get them.
And then your players go and do that, and they RP through that, dude.
And
that's
if
so
each
good.
of each of those elements were building up to maybe less of an RNG invasion, but you knew you had 3 in-game days, and what can you get done in those 3 in-game days? That is how I would do it in a long form thing, and you could easily run that over a long form and just have I mean, they have strongholds.
I
and
love
stuff
the
in
idea of a
typical
timer,
D&D,
Brad. Oh, gross. You know, where it's like you know, or some visual like, the whatever's getting thin again, their attack is impending, you know, like
there's always going to be something like that, and then preparing for the different types of raids.
Yeah.
I think there's
like, what
and
is
then
the
you also
I think it's a different,
man, that's sick.
But you also have a lot of room for narrative. Like we had 1 or 2 scenes a week, and one of them was often the thing, whatever it was, the flashback or story or whatever.
Yeah.
In a long form show, they can happen whenever. And in fact, for me as a GM, I'm just happy whenever they do happen. Like I just love it. I love not being there, you know, and just being like, oh, this is great. I don't have to do this. I'm not doing it. It
was set up that way primarily because I watch when people tip. I mean, again, when we're making these shows, it's like, what is the goal? These are our money-making shows. So first and foremost in my head, that's what I'm thinking about when I'm making the show. So when I was designing the show, I was like, I'm going to give people a lot of opportunities to tip. And I want them to feel like they've got lots of shit happening, lots of stuff happening. I feel like that was always really good. Yeah. And if we get too heavy into the narrative, I feel like we just didn't get as much money. And it was trying to find where's the balance.
I've solved it.
I'm going to put something in the tip bar, and that will cover it
for the next one.
Yes, Brad has a very cool concept.
I've solved it.
It is pretty neat.
I don't have to worry about the narrative versus gamified thing. And mark my words, if you use this clip against me when we make no money during my next show, I will leap off the top of my building. It's so stressful.
We're going to do that anyway if you don't make it.
It is. Tell me it's not the most stressful thing in the world is running this show.
Yep.
And
100%.
feeling so like it's up to
so
me
much pressure
to make sure that I am what if I don't earn as much money as Wack and PB? I've failed them. I've actively failed.
Remember when I cried and it was just that the wheel was broken? Do you remember that, guys?
Yeah.
When I had like I was like, I put you guys down, and then they were like, the wheel was broken, calm the fuck down. And I was like,
fine.
That's also the pressure of those shill shows. When I was running
sitting there
those shill
watching
shows,
it, and you're like, and the fucking wheel is broken. You're like, but you have to also be running the show.
When we're doing them weekly,
throw up.
When we do them weekly, it's like a slightly less pressure.
Dude,
it's slightly less pressure to do them weekly.
Like we just have a bucket next to our desk. We're Wack.
Quietly, every time we're running these shows, whoever is running it is like leaning over and throwing up fully, and then coming back and being like, "Okay, it's your turn in combat." It's unbelievable.
All of
pressure.
those shill shows, all of those like monthly ones, when they didn't work, when like we just didn't get decent. I was just sitting there like this after the show. I was like, what do we do?
The stress is unfathomable. It's making me feel hot now thinking about it, because I know it's my turn next and I have to not think about it this way, but it's so scary. And we appreciate you all for coming out and watching and supporting the shows. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, seriously.
I've never meant it more in my life.
Yeah. Also, this is just us speaking. I worry that someone's gonna like internalize this and feel bad or stressed or whatever, or get secondhand stress.
No. If you don't feel bad, you're doing it wrong.
If we don't get enough, if we don't hit the top of the
it's stressing me out.
Oh my God! I don't know what's gonna happen. I think I'm gonna have to cut off.
He does make it pretty funny.
And try and sell it on the black market. Oh God, I'll be orcish. I'll be orcish. Is that what you want?
That's too far.
Is that what you want from me?
That's too far now. The non-effort top of the tip bar is actually lower on average than the traditional main shows. So if we don't hit the top of the non-effort bar, then I genuinely have failed you, because that's the minimum power requirement. Thank you, Nix, for the 10 and Riv for the 20 as well.
Non-effort hype.
Just to cap off this question, PB.
No. Yes. Can I? Because I had an answer for it.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. I did the opposite. I was like, because for a while I was telling the guys I want to run my own like Delicious in Dungeon style game, D&D game. And I was telling them, I think the next game I run is going to be D&D, and it's just going to be a meat grinder, because that's just what I'm interested in doing. Like, what if I did, Ungodly, but for real and serious, where you're kind of just like trying to get your way through to the end and you're trying not to die, but, I make it roguelite. Like, how fun would that be? And I was telling them this for a while. And then when we decided to switch into this, and then we were each going to be running a show, I went, like if I tweak it a little bit, I could do monetization. It's hard for me, at least. It was hard for all of them, but I think it was hardest on me to try to come up with that shit, because it's very much like against kind of where my brain is at. But I do know that when I was thinking about it, I was like, what are the ways in which you guys can affect the game that are also still fun, that also either add intensity to the meat grinder or lower the intensity of the meat grinder, so that their ability to stay alive is easier or in question. Like you guys have control over that, which is kind of fun, but without it being like I can just pay for a party wipe, because that would blow balls for you guys. But I do know that the next time I do the Friday show, I am going to do a version of Don't Die, but it's going to be a little different, because I've learned. I want to do like the Final Fantasy VII Coliseum style. And then you guys get a menu each week. And you can either select who you're fighting, or maybe the chat can select who you fight.
Just went, I heard Final Fantasy.
Oh, no. My brain went, fuck you. That's what I was going to do.
No. We already know what you're doing.
No, I meant not for this one.
For the next future.
What I wanted to do was the Final Fantasy VII Battle Arena, because I did it in Oracles that time.
Yeah.
And I wanted to just do that. but the was chat every time. They fucking set it going. But I mean, yeah, you can just steal my idea and do it because
you never told me that.
Well,
did I just rip it out of your brain through the ether, which we are connected?
Where when you're watching TV and you're like, oh, they did my show. They did my show. Who wrote?
Yeah.
No, it's a good
idea. Who wrote this game?
Do it. Yeah. Both of us are like, oh, which one of us gets to rip off Final Fantasy VII? Like fighting over it as if it wasn't already.
It happens with every show, honestly.
It just takes a lot of the pressure off of the dungeon and stuff.
Fucking power.
Oh. Yeah.
Of the Gamba.
Yeah.
Of the next thing that I want to run.
Mm-hmm.
Is the only reason I'm doing it. Otherwise, I would have done a Final Fantasy VII Battle Coliseum. Because I'll tell you what, I was thinking.
That you decided to do that so that I could
now steal my
do
idea.
it, and then exactly.
No, it's all good.
Uh-huh.
I'm just for everyone to be aware. The reason I'm taking this so well, you'll see in a few weeks.
Because I have a better idea.
Because I've stolen PB's idea, and she's gonna get so angry with me.
Oh my god!
Sees this shit.
Oh no!
She'll be so moody. The thing that I was thinking was that you guys made such gamified things. I wanted to do it. So when I think it was during Don't Die, it was before Defend the Gates, but it was when I knew Defend the Gates was going to be when Wack told us, because he told us a while ago it was going to be like a tower defense, and then later on he developed it. So I knew somewhere ages ago that you were doing a roguelike and he was doing a tower defense, and I was like, fuck, now I have to do a game genre thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do I do? And now I'm not doing it because I came up with a stronger gacha.
You've got a better
but I do
idea.
want to do one, and it annoys me that I don't get to because we need money, and I've come up with the best way to turn the lovely, wonderful audience.
Is it the best? Tune in a few weeks where we
I
see.
think I've come up with the best way to turn our wonderful, loving audience into straight up crack addicts. And
no, don't do that.
If anyone can do it,
perspective on this
it's
is
a crack addict. I've got it locked in. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. I'm still fine-tuning the logistics.
Can't wait for everyone to call you their crack dealer.
I can't wait till we come out of episode 1 of this show and we haven't made $1, and I'm like, well, fuck. I built that shit up, dude.
Yeah, you did.
Nobody
but to blame but yourself.
I don't know. I've done it so many times in so many ways in my life, and it's always awful. You had another point, I think.
Flavor things for characters.
No, all right.
Pumpkinberry.
I didn't know if you had
there were
another
two
point,
things happening.
PB.
Oh yeah, just that I knew that I say this every time, but I just want to run a very casual, chill D&D game where I'm not giving 110,000% all the time.
Here's the thing.
Metaphor matters and all this. I just want to run a regular fucking game.
PB.
Yeah.
Come closer to me for it. Come on.
Okay.
No, you don't. I swear to God, that's what I thought.
Okay.
I need you to go and watch an
I know
episode
now.
of SideQuest.
Oh, no, I know now.
Don't do it.
No, I know now. You
actually think that, but then when you try and do it, you realize it's the worst mistake.
I know. I'm
doing everything in my power to get that show finished as quickly
love you
as I
very
can.
much.
Wrapping out.
But after the 3rd episode of that, I was like, I will never run a show like
You
that.
cannot do it.
It will kill me.
It's one of the most painful experiences of my entire life, and I've given birth twice. Next question.
Thank you, Rhaegor, for the 15. Thank you, Anonymous, for the 25. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Passion project.
Another one from Silicon.
Flavor things.
No, we're actually on the previous one, which is why I'm trying to get us.
Oh, okay.
Shut the fuck up.
Ooh, what is this question?
Let's find out. Silicon says non-SFX question. It's all good. You never have to. It doesn't have to be a thing. But when you do submit questions, can you put like a big bold, like this is a question somewhere on there for me? It just makes it easier when I'm scrolling. Because I like the discussions around the questions, but sometimes I'm like scrolling and I don't know where they are. I don't want to miss them. I get like today I scrolled through and found like an extra question that I'd scrolled through the whole thing like 4 times and saw one I'd missed, and it's like, oh, we need
the best way to do that. The best way to do that is not put question, do exclamation point question, all one word.
Yeah,
because if we search question, we're going to get a million of things. But then we can just search that. Yeah.
Something like that. So if you can think to do something like that, that'd be great. Just so I don't miss any.
No, it's not something like that. It's exclamation point question.
Yeah.
Do that.
Yeah, because then I'll definitely see it. That's
help.
The thing.
Yeah.
Because quite a lot of the time I'm like, honestly, I bang this out 3 minutes before we go live, and I'm like, oh, I've got to find the questions, because it's non-effort, and I don't want to. It's the same thing, chuck another hour in here, another half an hour there, and I end up running another show in between running the other shows, and we're all like, wee-oo. The question from Silicon.
Good gifts today. There's going to be some good gifts.
Listening to the gifts that Deciduous has been pulling on all of our personal channels and here have been some of Deciduous's best work. Re-listening to some older shows. Never in your life would I listen to it. An older show of mine. I can't listen to my old shows.
What was the question?
I just had a moment there of imagining if I had to listen to one of my old shows, and then I spun out, and I'm going to get back on with reading the question. For me, it's 9:20 in the evening, and
Greg watches episodes back. I know a few role players
can't
that will
believe
do that. And that is amazing, because they're some of the best role players, and they're always like, I'm watching to learn.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
I can't do it. I would rather
It would
die.
Honestly improve our craft so much.
Yeah, I know. I know that. I'm like, if I just watched back, I would know what when I say or
oh my God,
like I would be
every time I
would
hear
be
myself say I'm like, cut your tongue out of your mouth.
I would try harder, or I would know. I would be a much better jam if I just watched my shit back, but I can't do it, man.
Fucking Greg is a narcissist. That's why he's doing it. He's not trying to improve his craft. He's just obsessed with himself, egotistical. Okay, Silicon says, re-listening to some older shows and some of the pre-session table talks in some of the sessions caught my interest again. So we're back around to what we were saying earlier on. How often do you, as players, think about little flavor things for your characters in and out of session? Examples: favorite genres of music, go-to breakfast meal, preferred sleep position, back, stomach, sides, half off the bed, etc. How one arranges their toilet paper was the example that I remember from the session I listened to. Now, I can actually answer this pretty quickly. I don't really think about
time him.
I don't think about this very much, but I remember thinking about it a lot for fucking Lionel. I knew Lionel's whole night.
You did go nutso on Lionel.
I knew everything, the way he got up.
You did,
because I thought of him like those serial killers that get up and they like fold all their stuff perfectly, and then you know what I mean, like they're doing everything.
The kingpin omelet.
Yeah, the kingpin omelet. Exactly that process where he's arranging all of his pens and he gets the books that he needs for the day, and that kind of thing. So, I think I do it for those kinds of characters. But when I think of someone like Ty, I don't need to know how he sleeps, because I know if you ask me how does he arrange it, he throws it on the ground. Maybe like post game Spellwind, post game epilogue Ty doesn't, but for sure beginning, mid Ty, it's like his go-to breakfast meal is a cigarette. It's like, what is his preferred sleeping position? He probably just collapses in whatever state he's in, fully clothed, because he's exhausted, and then maybe wakes up in the night and kicks off his boots. So I don't really think about those little things too much with a lot of characters, because I tend to really know who they are at their core, so that if the question comes up and I presented it, which is what Whack actually did to me in Defend the Gates with a character that I really hadn't really fleshed out too much, because I was like, well, Whack's never going to put any hardcore narrative moments on me. He doesn't do that to me with these characters that I build half-assed. And he was like, what do you want for breakfast? And I was like, fuck, What does he want? I was like, he hates himself and doesn't deserve breakfast. Alcohol. Get rid of the pain. He's sobering up. The most dangerous place you can be as a traumatized alcoholic. You know, staving off those memories. So that's how I approach that usually. So I very rarely actually do think of these little things. But now that I've read this question, man, do I want to sit and do it with all my characters, you know, like really think about them all. So I'd like to in the future think about this some more. I'd like to have this on the character sheet. I know you're both being silent and timing me. I'd love to have this on a
9
character
minutes,
sheet.
42 seconds, by the way.
It is not 9 minutes and 42 seconds, you bitch. You know you can gaslight me so easy. Let me see how long I can make it go. The famous last words for me quite often there. Yeah, I would love to have a character sheet that when you hand one out to your characters, you know, like years ago, Jay Brotato said, come up with an NPC you like, love, and one that you're a rival of. I love to give that to my players now. I would love to just be like, what position do they sleep in? What's their go-to breakfast meal? How do they arrange their toilet paper? Add those on because I think they're good informative questions to really help your characters feel like real people.
Yeah, I will. I'm just realizing I do that, I think, during the first couple of sessions as a GM. I'll ask those questions of the player, or not those exact questions, but like, you know, how do you think that they feel about this, or what do you think this was like for them for the first time, or whatever, to get people thinking about that stuff. Because often, you know, you don't really know until you're in play. But
well, you're good at those in play as well. I think I forget about those sometimes in play. I wish I didn't.
Yeah.
I will watch you GMing and you say stuff like that to your players and I'm like, oh man, I should do that more. And then I do another session and don't. And I'm like, you
forget,
you fucking suck. You're the worst. That's what I tell myself at night.
Oh, okay.
Really, the only thing that's ever stopped me from doing that is when they tip us loads of money.
If you don't tip us,
okay, no, stop.
Brad is gonna have trouble sleeping tonight. All he's gonna do is think about how much of a failure he is, like I do every day with everything. You don't want Brad to be reduced to that state. It ruins a man. It ruins him. The only thing that's left is resentment and hatred and anger. You don't want to see Brad like that. So tip now. Tip now so you can save Brad's mental health.
Oscar's in the chat. Holy
wow.
shit. That was so good.
He's going to pay for that
fuck.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
He's overclocking too much.
Yeah. Oh, fuck.
Better not.
I forget what was the question?
The question is,
I did have an answer for it.
Yeah, is
You just went for 9 minutes and 42 seconds.
no, I
and
know.
I've totally forgotten.
No, we'll fucking time you.
Yeah.
You know, we'll time you for yours as well. How often do you think about little flavor things? In and out of session?
Yeah. So I don't think I think about those little random questions.
Favorite genre of music is good though.
Yeah. So I might listen to something that, you know, kind of gets me into the vibe for the character. But
Give me like, what's Connie's favorite genre of music?
70s rock, probably.
What is Connie's favorite?
Yeah, 70s rock for sure. Absolutely. Yep.
Connie though. Do you remember Connie Whack? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I do.
Oh my God, dude.
I remember Connie all the time.
Honestly, Leech was borderline. We shouldn't have run it.
Why?
The thirst was uncontrollable.
Because the thirst was uncontrollable.
Unbelievable.
That's fair.
Yeah. It needed to be on a different website. That shit was nuts.
Oh, it was
all over the
very,
place.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think about those specific little things like that unless the question comes up and then I go, oh yeah, okay, and the answer will feel right. I'll go, oh yeah, that makes total sense to me. Like I can see, you know, Connie in a, you know, car or whatever and listening to that. Like I know exactly how she would drive as well. You know, like all that stuff. If I can put the character in the scene, then I can answer all those questions in my head. But it's not like those things come up very often when I'm, doing things myself. I might be doing dishes
in a real world
thinking about it. Yeah, or you're out and you're ordering food, and then you might go, "Oh, I wonder what this character would order," and then you think about it. But it's not often that happens. For food, I feel like it depends on when
delivery. You know what I mean? Like just modern saying.
Indian food. If she can order
anything. I swear to God, I said chicken tikka masala in my head before you said that.
Yeah, for sure.
Chicken tikka masala.
And then what movie is she watching when she eats it?
So for Suna, I think she's a softie, and I think she would watch like a, I don't know. I don't want to say rom-com because I feel like that's a little too far. It'd be like
Casablanca or something.
Yeah, something like that, or I don't know. She might veer into a 90s Lifetime, but if she's like not paying attention, if she's doing something else, that would be on in the background.
Sleepless in Seattle.
I feel like. Well, I think that might be a little too like rom-com. Yeah. It's too far for her, I think. But yeah, so occasionally you might be out doing something and those questions would come up, but I don't find myself thinking about like, how they might fold the toilet paper or like what type of pizza would they order. I think I more think about like,
but what pizza would Iridir order though?
Yeah, please let us know.
I could do this. I swear to God, this has activated a part of me where I could do this, I think, all night.
Yeah.
I could just call people and ask them what these questions about their characters. I swear to God, I think all night. I don't think I would ever get bored of this. That should be
our next week of non-effort. We just randomly call our friends and ask them questions. We just do that. We just fucking call them all up and say, right, we've got questions for each of your characters. These are the questions. Let's go through each of your characters.
I would pick something that would be...
He's back.
Ostentatious,
I can't handle
sure. It would be something along the lines of... delicious. Yes, it would be something... like the works. It would be, it couldn't be plain. It couldn't be a regular slice of cheese. It would be,
absolutely. It would be a specific type. And then if it wasn't that specific type, he would be like, oh, well, never mind. We'll order something else. Does this have this kind of cheese on it?
Just for
no? Okay, then never mind.
Just for a little, a cherry on top. I would need a glass of wine as well.
What wine?
This is it. Red.
Be red, wouldn't it?
Well, it depends on the topping, doesn't it? We would need to consider if white or red would be better.
Oh, he'd actually be pairing it properly.
Yeah. Asterion was based off of Iridir. Tell me I'm wrong.
You
don't think so?
Well, Astarion's evil.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Definitely
Astarion's not evil, is he?
Yeah, yes.
Oh,
Sure.
Okay. Maybe I should play more of Baldur's Gate 3.
Next, after Expedition 33.
I'm
desperate to play Baldur's Gate. Can you believe that I've only played it for 1 hour and 33 minutes?
That's crazy,
wow.
Dude. You had it a few sessions.
I got a good chunk in, but
you got like a week.
Nowhere near as much as I wanted. The way I wanted to just fucking tear into that.
I think, from my perspective,
that should be illegal. Oh, you're on the wrong website.
Yeah.
From my perspective, I think I kind of just parrot what you've said, which is I don't really think about the little things. I really focus more on their goals. I think their goals help define the character almost overall. Is like, what are they trying to do? And then I develop their personality from that. And I think that just kind of trickles down to almost everything else.
Yeah.
And with Iridir, for example, Iridir's goals were to find his family and also to have sex with as many people as possible along the way. And also not compromise his values, as weird as that sounds. He was a chaotic character, but like sometimes I dip into that lawful aspect of things because he did kind of like have a code. But for the most part, most of his interactions were chaotic. and I think the goals ultimately are what the most important part for a character. Now, as Brad said, do I now want to include some random fucking questions to my players to help them think? Yes, I absolutely want to do that.
Yeah. Even if it's like modern, like they don't have to, it doesn't, like the question to Suna, like what movie would she watch?
Yeah.
Like that is informative. That you don't need to, it doesn't have to be a thing you write down in your backstory. It's just a thing to help you think about framing how your character interfaces with everything, the world, who they are. I think it's a great addition.
Oh, definitely. I think I'm realizing, though, that a lot of the grounding questions that I ask tend to be around feelings. And maybe that's just because I'm a very feely person. And I find that when I think about how does this character feel
You're
about
a feely
this
person?
Yeah, surprise. Or like feel during something. So I ask questions like that. Like, so, you know, how did your character feel when this happened? Because then that's easier to imagine, like, oh, this has happened. Oh, I feel this thing. And that kind of like grounds you in the character
Maybe
a
you
little
should
bit.
be more accommodating for other people who don't think exactly like you feel. You ever considered
bean
that?
soup. Yeah.
Yeah. You ever considered
Bean
not
soup,
being completely
Not
narcissistic?
being-
Who are you, Greg?
Yeah. No, I'm
Speaking about
PBU.
passion project.
Oh my God, PBU. Oh my God, dude. I got a good zinger in today during my stream. I can't remember what it was, but it was something along those lines.
Why the hell was everyone saying all that stuff about me in your chat?
Because I had a dream about you last night, which I shouldn't have said it in that way. I had a dream in which you were there. Nope. Me and you did something in my dream. No.
Nope. Okay, try again.
Look, what you think it is isn't what it was.
Sundress. Sorry.
The next thing that you think it wasn't what it was either. There's no way you could predict what it was.
Feet.
It was the weirdest dream. Okay, and I woke up.
Was I sitting on a wall?
You will never guess. I'm not kidding. And it isn't.
Okay.
I swear to
Type
God.
it to me. I'm curious.
It isn't a sexual thing.
No, I believe that.
It was just a weird adventure.
You would have told no one.
Right.
You'd have been like,
yeah. It wouldn't have even come. It was so weird. The point that I was making was that the dream was so weird that I woke up and went, I am not starting my day with that energy. And I forced myself to go back to sleep. I needed a reroll.
That's not happening.
So I like mulliganed the day's energy.
I do that shit all the time, by the way.
I rarely can do it, but I knew I could this morning.
Yeah.
I don't very easily fall back asleep, but I like force myself to. And I'd already been asleep for quite a long time as well. So like for me, it was even more like crazy to go back to sleep. Anyway, yeah, it was fucking weird. Next question. Speaking of dreams of PB, passion projects. April Rain said, passion project. And we sort of answered this, I think, a little bit.
Yeah.
How big a risk was it to start/join Tablestory? What is your advice for someone on the fence to start their passion project versus keeping their day job/secured job? We've been all around this.
Yep.
Between the three of us, we've been we've hit every facet of this which is possible. For me, I don't know if I have an enormous amount to add to this, really, other than the stuff that we've already even spoken about today. It wasn't a risk to start Tablestory. Me and Jay Broteo did it because we wanted to play more D&D. We didn't have a place where it was. We just were talking one day about like playing a game. We ran some shows on our own channels. We then decided it would be cool if we called it the same thing, and then we uploaded them to YouTube. And then we were like, it's annoying to run on my channel. And he was like, yeah, it was annoying to run his channel. So we ran it on a different channel. We made the channel, and it was just supposed to be an archive, and it just existed separately from our channels because we were playing different games like Forza and PUBG and stuff. And people were getting really confused between, they'd come in for like PUBG and I'd be playing D&D and the type of person, like weird mixed audience stuff. And then the same with Jay's channel. So we just did that. It wasn't a big deal because it wasn't a business. We weren't trying to make anything of it. We just wanted to play D&D, and it just felt at the beginning it was awkward with all the different communities, and we had 2 different streamers and stuff. So we made Tablestory onto its own channel, but then it just came to life. Like we looked away one day and we turned around and it was like alive and talking. It was like, mama, mama. And we were like, oh my God, we have a child. And then me and Jay suddenly had to nurture this child. And it was going, I want to suckle. And we were like, we need someone to suckle the child. And we gave it Wax Steven,
Slipping into your dream again.
Who then began suckling. What a word. So in terms of starting it was like almost no skin off my nose. But very quickly, it started to become a little more work here and a little more work there. And that for me has been my struggle with this. Where I had a full-time job at the time, and I was streaming part-time, and I was streaming Tablestory part-time. And then I started to do things like a thumbnail for YouTube, make a little thumbnail, grab a piece of artwork, commission some artwork, and I paid everything out of, my own account for years. It was just my money. It wasn't like we had a Tablestory account. I was just buying artwork off of people, and then I was making thumbnails, and then I was editing intros, and there's another hour gone. So my struggle predominantly at the beginning was just time balance, work versus not working balance and stuff. That's a major problem that I don't think we've fully solved even now. It's just very difficult to have a passion project that you truly believe in, that has potential to become a functioning business, has potential to be in a massive business. If you look at people like Crit Roll and all, these major Dimension 20 types, they have investors and stuff as well along the way, but like that's potential is always there. But when you don't have it, you're just running another job. And I would just imagine in your head that you have another part-time job.
Go ahead and grab 10 D20s, okay? And then roll those. And if you get a 20 on every single one, you got it.
You have successfully created Critical Role.
Yeah.
It is the passion is the key.
No, that's not true. Some of those D20s are D10s or, whatever, because, they had a leg up before they got started, right?
I mean, kind of, but they were just voice actors.
There's no kind. Okay, there's no kind of though, because the voice actors knew other people in.
Yeah, but that's working. They worked situations to get to that point.
But I'm not saying that they. But okay, that's totally fine, Brad. But what I mean is, when the danger comes when somebody compares themselves and their, passion project to like Critical Role or something else, and goes, well, they started from nothing. And that's a very fine thing to think. They may have started from nothing, but they had to have different access than you do. Or maybe they didn't exactly start from nothing. That doesn't discount what they did or the work or how they got there, because obviously, they also worked hard.
No, I'm happy to discount all of their work and their hard work.
Well, but I just think it's... I just want...
I'll do whatever you want.
I just want people to
If you tell me to
recognize...
do it, I'll jump.
Now we're getting into the dream again.
Yeah.
What bridge?
Uh-huh.
How high?
What? Oh...
I get what you're saying.
I just don't want people thinking that it's the same playing field when it's not. And then they feel like shit. Yeah, okay, cool.
She ain't coming back to her body, so it's just me and you. I think the key is the word passion. You have to fucking love it. You have to fucking love it. I think...
No, everybody fucking says that and they're wrong.
Are you kidding?
Yeah,
if I didn't fucking love every show that we've made, if I didn't fucking love this channel, I would not still be doing this.
It's only one part.
No.
Yeah.
I said the key. I'm not saying it's the only thing. It's the key. If you do it with if it isn't because for the love of the game, I don't think you'll stick with it. Unless you roll all those 20s and you blow up and you just suddenly start making money off of it or some other fringe benefit. Because we've never made any money off of this really until very recently. And I would say we've not anywhere near like matched our losses.
Clinging to life.
Well,
as a business operational cost,
yeah,
utterly
like we make enough to we make enough to like pay artists and stuff for new shows and things like that, but that's really all we've ever wanted.
Yeah.
You
We've
know,
not
that's
ever
all
really
we
run
care
it
about
like
doing.
a business.
Yeah.
Like we're
Yeah.
not strictly
So
running it
we
like
gotta
a
think
business.
about that
That's why,
too.
and it has been
Yeah.
a passion project for pretty much almost the entire time that it's existed. This has existed since 2016. It's coming up on 10 years. That is nuts.
That's crazy.
There have been times where I'm just sat there on a fucking Wednesday morning preparing for a show on a fucking Friday night or a Sunday afternoon, and I'm going, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I doing this thing? I am exhausted. I've got fucking 3 jobs. I've got this bill to pay. My dog's dying. My wife's left. You know, I'm like, why haven't I got a fucking Bugatti?
The aliens are disappointed in us.
Why are the aliens leaving?
Yeah.
And like, it's because I love it. It's the only answer. Why the fuck have I kept doing this whole time? I love it. I think that is a key one. I think you need to actually be so invested in what you're doing before you take on any passion project. Because otherwise you're just doing a part-time job, and you wouldn't do a part-time job that you didn't get paid for. Or there wasn't some sort of fringe benefit, or maybe you were working an apprenticeship or something like that. But if you were just working at a pizza place and they didn't pay you, you wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Right. And that is the
Unless
key.
you loved pizza.
Unless you fucking love delivering pizza or something.
Yeah.
And I think that is the thing that has gotten, well, maybe it's only me. I guess you two fucking don't love this.
Yeah.
But I love it.
That's what we said.
And I think it is.
That's exactly what we said.
The only thing sometimes on like the worst day when I'm really struggling for money and I'm looking at how much shit I have to get done today, and I have to fucking prep a game of D&D, you know, for a bunch of ungrateful, shitty players. And then I go, you know what though? That might actually be the only fun part of my week.
Yeah.
As well, you know. Very, very often as well, this game has saved me. I've had the worst day of my life, and I've run a game, a really difficult game of D&D, and I come out of it, and I'm like, oh my God, I feel so grounded. I had such a great time. I spent time with my friends. It was so fun. And I felt like I was so busy that I wasn't thinking about all my shit. It's actually really helpful, but that's a different story.
That was a little bit of the aspect that I wanted to touch on, was the mental health aspect of things. Because the passion project idea is that your hobby or your project, your passion project in general, is meant to keep you sane, right? While you're doing your normal job, right? It's your escape. It's the way that you are able to keep yourself grounded and realize like, hey, I can still do other stuff. I'm not only my job or whatever. And I think countless times for me, playing in a tabletop role-playing game with people I like and have become friends with, and some of them have become like found family for me, is another aspect to really consider about it. When I was doing my full-time job, and then I would come home and then do D&D, and I eventually got to the point where I was doing 4 fucking D&D shows plus my full-time graphic design job, I was looking at it as the thing that was saving me from the hatred of that job. So I think that aspect of like, hey, it's a way to like help your mental health is also a factor for me. It's not just I love it. It's also something I need.
I think we all have the thing where you need a creative outlet.
Yep.
I think there's only 2 types of people in the world, maybe. You either need a creative outlet or maybe you need like a sport to play. It's essentially a hobby, but I think it seems to be that if you don't have one of those 2 things as the personality type that fits into either one of them, then people start getting real depressed. If you don't come home and you have like a thing that you want to do, it's rough.
And if it's not, even like tactile is the only other one I would think. Like just building something with your hands, or even if you're following like Lego
building
or something like that, something like that. Those
you
three
gotta have,
things
but that
seem
I
to
would
be,
count that under creative, to be honest. Like you need a creative outlet. For me, I get depressed if I'm not running D&D games and I don't have another creative thing going on. My world starts getting real grayscale real quick. It loses vibrance very quickly, and I start to get very depressed. That creative outlet is important, but you run a severe risk of turning your creative outlet, the thing that is supposed to reduce your stress, into a very stressful thing. It becomes work. It becomes it becomes a thing where after sometimes some weeks, for me, many really, not the majority by any mean stretch, but some of the weeks of running these games from start to finish have been grueling, where I'm like, I don't want to do it, but I have to because it's fucking scheduled. There are people waiting on me, and there's also a fucking audience. It's not just like the 3 people that are going to play in the game with me. There's a whole other element.
Already a massive amount of like guilt if you can't run the game for them.
The worst feeling,
you know, because they are also potentially looking at it like we're talking about, which is a need that they need.
You have you have a Greg in the campaign who's like, and then I was thinking of doing this on Sunday, and then I was going to do this on Sunday, and then Sunday rolls around, and you're like, I can't do it, man.
I had to.
How many times have you done it just for Greg, and you show up wide-eyed?
Exactly. I've had to tell myself, and I've developed this mantra now over time, which is I'm not responsible for other people's happiness. Is something that I've had to develop, which is...
That's true, apart from the fact that PB is currently exclusively happy for Greg. It's responsible for Greg's happiness. Yeah. Like, that is entirely on PB.
It's in bold on the top of all of my GM notes. Do not kill Moog. Moog equals Greg.
Greg's waiting.
You lose Moog, you lose Greg.
I feel like you do need that thing, but then you run into a line. If you do a full-time job every day, and then you are responsible for like 2 or 3 D&D games, one D&D game, one tabletop game, you have to be very careful that it doesn't become work. How many times have you had a thing that you enjoyed doing and you kind of started making money out of it, and then you destroyed it for yourself? I did it for myself with photography games.
That was my previous career.
Yeah.
I loved it. And then eventually it just got to the point where, and they fucking warn you, bro.
Yeah.
They all warn you that it's going to happen. And you're like, no, it'll never happen to me. And then it happens to you. And you're like, oh, I see.
I had to relearn my passion for editing. I had to relearn my passion for D&D. Like we've spoken about it on here before, where I like hit a wall with it.
For me, it was like a surprising thing. It was because the reason I got into doing wedding photography is because I like candid portraiture, but editorialism is harder to get into than, say, like wedding photography, where you can say I focus on, like candid shots, and obviously you do standard portraiture in that too, but like getting into that's the one where if you can get in there and you can do your job well enough, it will actually pay you full time. Whereas some of the other ones are like, harder to do. And I was doing, in the US, they have like senior portraiture for like when you're graduating high school. And that could be your whole role. And that was my whole role before I moved to Canada, but they don't have that here in Canada. So I was like, oh, now what do I do? I guess I have to do something else. But for me, it was like I got into the weddings because I was photographing my everyday life, and people were following like that. And then they went, I want you to shoot my wedding, right? And then I was like, oh, I've never done that before, but sure, I'll try. And that's kind of where that started from. So when I started to burn out, I started to lose the desire to photograph my everyday life. And the most depressing thing is that it never came back, because I just worked straight fucking into the ground, and then I just lost the desire to pick up. Like, I would give anything to go back in time and quit before I lost that, because that I used to just, I actually think, and this is such a random tangent, but I actually think that it was part of why my mental health was so much better back or part of the things that I need for a good, solid mental health foundation. One is light. I have to live in a place where there's light. 2 is I have to, be taking photos every day, and I need like exercise and sleep, just like the standard stuff. But it's because for me, I think it's a grounding moment where I'm looking at something and I pick up my camera and I'm looking through, and it's like everything goes quiet and still for a second, and I'm in the moment, and there's not a second that goes by where I'm not grateful for the things that I'm taking, because I'm like, wow, look at that beautiful light on that wall. I'm going to take a second to admire that beautiful light on that wall and take a photo of that. But when you're not doing that every day, your just fucking day goes by.
Yeah.
So I think for me, it's like a good way of grounding me and making me. It's my gratitude journal. Because if I'm gonna write one of those, I can't do that. Fuck that. But but photography is a version of that, right? It's being still and in the moment and being like, damn, I love my keyboard or whatever.
And what about the question?
Pretty moment. So I think Brad and I have the same. Sorry, hey, bitch, you went totally off. But I actually think
just a reminder, we've got a tip bar.
You and I have the same.
No. It was just a joke. It was a beautiful piece of thought. It was a beautiful.
I did want to actually answer the question because we didn't. None of us have answered it yet, and I have a follow-up question that I think will help, because I think Brad and I come from the same spot where we were working 2 jobs, for streaming full time plus working another job and then doing Tablestory on top of it. So for us, it was like, a very different experience to Wax experience, where all of a sudden it was like, hey, you're going to run the channel and you're going to get, we'll pay you to live. And we've got income elsewhere and we won't take anything from the Tablestory pool. So it's like easier for us to pour all of our passion into this project, because it was easy for me to be like, oh, I love this. I'm not, I don't see anything from Tablestory. It's good. Like I can, I have the freedom to do whatever fucking show I want. I don't have to think about any of that other money stuff, So I think when Brad and I, kind of switched to doing, one job, which is just our Twitch stream, it maybe put a little bit more strain on the creativity or, kind of the time that we would want to devote to Tablestory, because then it was, now we're only doing one job and that job is, responsible for our happiness or whatever. And then, I don't know, I just think you and I have the same experience when it comes to what was the risk or the cost in jumping. And personally, I like to, kind of make sure I got my shit sorted for like 6 months before I will quit job. I want to be super safe, and nothing about a passion project is safe. You could try your best, but at the end of the day, you got to leap. Whereas Whack, I think, was kind of given an opportunity to leap early. And then when we started doing non-effort and we were doing non-canon and non-effort in these Friday shows, Whack took another huge risk again, right? Do you guys want to talk about that? Because that is different. Whack's going the opposite direction than we're going, Brad.
If you can sum it up in less than 6 minutes.
Well, we're getting paid now. Brad and I are getting paid on these shows. You're paying Whack and you're paying us as well. So like that's excellent.
If you want to save their cats,
I just mean for you and I, it's like, oh, we're fine. We're seeing something. Yeah, it's the first time we've ever gotten anything from Tablestory, and it's now like,
I've never
cool.
worked a legitimate part-time job for, it would be 7 years without getting paid a penny. Until this.
Yeah.
Now this is legitimately a part-time job.
Yes. But the same thing just happened to Whack. It's now legitimately a part-time job instead of a full-time job, right?
Yeah.
Whack had to be, take that leap and go, okay, yes, we're gonna try to do it this way. And I think Whack has taken the most scary risk in that regard. It's scary all the way around.
Whack has done it twice. Whack has taken a scary risk twice. The first time, and again, we've spoken about this before, in that he was working a full-time job, and then me and Jay were like, look, if you just want to run this thing, because it had become a baby, and we were like, it is kind of alive. Do you want to just treat it like your own channel and just run it and be the like day manager of this thing, and whatever profit it makes, you can just put it towards your rent. And then if you can get that to work, we'll see how that goes. And Wack was like, okay, I'll try. That is crazy. That was a crazy leap.
That was crazy.
Number one.
Crazy leap. Yep.
To just pack in a full-time job and all that security and then just leap on that. And then two,
to work for two, like how well did he know you, Brad? Because I have thought about this before.
Not
I've
wasn't
thought,
super
that's
well.
what I was going to say.
compared to now.
We were friends versus like best friends, you know,
Do you know how bad that could have gone if Brad and Jay were any, like, say your average Twitch streamer?
Yeah, I know, right?
Just run our channel.
He would have
for
been
us,
run through.
bro.
You
like,
gotta-
he would have been fucked over.
Yeah.
So hard.
But like,
So, yeah, I
you
think about
also
that a lot,
need to
like, the
understand,
risk.
like,
Yeah.
you've seen it a few times. Like when I get really fucking upset and like and I have to go to that dark place where I will eviscerate someone. That would have happened if I felt the slightest.
Oh
bit
yeah,
like
I'm
that was gonna
sure,
happen.
But it wouldn't have meant
But I'm just
anything
saying,
because
like,
we would have been
it could have just
psychopathic sharks. And
it could have just gone
operate on a
poorly,
different level
you know. Run our channel for us, and then
But
you
in
see nothing.
terms
But
of
instead, they
my
meant it, and they were like,
perspective-
"Yeah, go for it."
In terms of my perspective on that, I haven't taken tons of risks in my life, and I worked safe jobs, a lot of like dead end shit, okay, and it didn't provide me with opportunities that I felt like were enriching my life in any significant way. So what were my options? I could go into another kind of like office job and try and get, promoted through, I think, what a lot of people go through, or I can try and take a fucking risk because I had unemployment. I had, I had some savings. So like you said, you want to make sure you're okay for 6 months.
Yeah.
I was okay for 6 months. And if it didn't work out, if I didn't see any possibility, like I was going to be okay, then I was going to have to do that. But, immediately, and I was still in this mindset from my previous job, I need to work. 10 hours a day, work. Every, like I was broke down. How much money are we getting from this? How much money are we getting from this? How do we make enough money so that I can do this, and this? And I was rigid with that. I was sticking to that. I would reach out to Brad and Jay and be like, "Hey, we need this, we need this, we need this, we need this." And I immediately was starting to turn that into like part-time job for them. So that was a tough leap. And then sort of switching to this model now is like they said, it's also a difficult thing because certain responsibilities have been spread through for all of us, but there's still also that pressure of like, hey, am I going to make rent this month? That's still a factor. So passion project, my experience with it is, if you're looking to convert a passion project into a job, really think about it. Give it some proper time. Let it marinate. Don't jump right into it. I had been doing D&D stuff for years before Tablestory on my own channel. I knew how to run shows. I knew how to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
I knew the concept behind making money to survive, at least.
Yeah.
Before I made that leap. So even though it was a leap and I was taking a risk, I did know how to do all of the different aspects first. It wasn't just, I just love this and I'm going to do it. I had stepping stones in place before I did it.
Also, can we just take a tiny second to think about that you don't have to monetize all your joy in your life?
Right.
It's fine to just also have it be a passion project. And I think
and
I think all of us have sat down many, many times. Brad kind of like talked about it a little bit before, where, offers have come up, but it would require giving up some of the creative freedom that we have. And sure, we'd be making more money. But to us, and at least the three of us, it's like never been about that. And I think many times we've had the conversation where it's like, as long as we eat and we're okay and we're not, then it doesn't need to be much bigger than that. We're not necessarily like, we're perfectly content with it staying the size that it is, because we're very grateful that we have the audience that we have that loves what we're doing. And so it's like, as long as we're not starving to death, we're okay with that. And the pipe dream is like, we all have an office together or something, and we're, making books for you guys.
And we want
all this other stuff.
The real key that is the creative freedom to have full control, creative control and full power over our intellectual property. But we've all at some point been absolutely fucked by this industry, because it's just a bunch of uncreative people running it, poaching creative people for their ideas and their creativity, because that's magic. That's magic, and they can't get it. You can earn as much money being a great businessman as you want, but you'll never gain access to the fucking spell that is creativity, because you're not a magic user. And it's why this is one of the most toxic industries. If you're a creative, if you're somebody who can invent, if you're somebody who can create from something original, it is awful to be used in that way and have something that you've created that this person could never make, and then they take it, and then they may offer you a little bit of money, but they go and use it to make so much more, and you recognize later on how you were used and that kind of thing. So we're very afraid, I think, of losing that control, because we don't, or
anyone else being in that scenario, right? Like the number, and we love you guys so much, the number of people that we have had that have been like, I will do this work for free, I will build you guys this thing for free, and we're like, absolutely not.
That's not what we want, because we become them.
We refuse, and it's like,
become them. That's the first step. You become the villain eventually. That's the first step of becoming that type. If you're not already that person in this industry, you'll become it by continually relying on the good nature of people around you, and then never really paying them back for it.
Yeah. Or like, another great example of this.
Which we would pay them back. But the problem is, what if we don't make...
What if we can't make... That's the thing. And so we don't want to do that. But that said, we've had tons of people still like volunteer their time and their effort. Like Leon, who does the Roll20 sheets, or has done like many of the Roll20 sheets, or another great example is Jay the Way. We're talking about this program that was made for us. Jay just like sat us down, and when I tell you, it took like 4 meetings of him like saying, no, for real, I just want to do this thing for you guys because you're doing something awesome. And eventually he had to come and be like, I made it already, so either you're going to use it or you're going to waste my time. It was like a hack, and then he showed it to us, and it was just like, man, the effort that went into making this program for us is just like so good. And it's very emotional, but it's stuff like that where people volunteer their time, and we're like, no, we don't. But it's that hard line of like finding out, And
this is what we mean when we say we're trying to build this ethically, there's a lot of ethical things in this industry, but.
Or like other stuff or other channels you're watching where it's like all of these things that are going on, and you're just like, this isn't happening, or this person isn't getting paid, or this person. That's why we were always super transparent about like WAC is getting rent money and Brad and PB aren't getting anything, like that, and then now we're splitting it now so that we can all run more than one show on the channel, or whatever it is, and have the freedom to do that without starving. But but also at the same time, we want to make sure that, the artists that we're hiring are getting paid up front.
And we still have to cover all the costs.
Yes.
So it's not like pure profit. Like, I don't think any of us are making bank.
No. No.
But it is nice, and it is, we did make that change. And I think, back to this point, it has a massive driving force behind that has been these Friday shows, and being able to find a monetizable outlet while still, because for me, even when I was running non-canon, and even when I'm running this upcoming show, my main show is SideQuest, is Cura. You know, that's where I'm putting my full creative dick. You know, that's the whole thing.
All right.
And
the whole thing.
And I still want, and like that is for me the one of my, it might be my number one thing that I put effort into in my entire life.
Thank you so much to Biru for the 75. Dinner's on me for
Jeez,
y'all. Thank you for everything.
Jesus.
Electric Monk, thank you for the 30. Geek Dice, thank you for the 75.
Gee,
oh my God.
PB maybe.
Yeah, whack.
Not
You don't
whack.
get food. So like it one of the things that I think is so important to us all is that we get
Guys
to
just
express
called me fat.
ourselves
Thank you,
creatively.
Geek
Like, what was the point in us putting this much effort into this thing? The blood, sweat, and tears, struggling over the worst week ever.
Thank you, Bear of Flame, for the 25.
Force yourself to do another episode of a show. Force yourself to get up and put a little more effort into finding the right song or the right sound effect. You do these little extra things. You're exhausted. And then at the end of it, what? We just sell it down the road to some fucking industry fuck? No. It's not going to happen. So we've invested too much of ourselves.
That being said, industry fucks. If you'd like to get in contact with Wax Steve,
Yeah.
you can head. No,
If
I'm
for
just
some
kidding.
reason you want to invest in Tablestory but have no fucking say over anything,
we'll
call
take,
us.
we'll take your money, but you don't get to relinquish the creative control, which
yeah.
is where we end up. Tune in on Tuesday for PB's episode of Draconim. Yeah, these again.
Oh,
That
I
is-
mean that's okay,
that's
but
an
that's
important
another thing that we
distinction,
do.
Important distinction, isn't it?
Yeah, where we occasionally do sponsored stuff, but we only do stuff we want to do,
We
and
want
like
to
we're
do
super
it,
interested.
and we make
in,
sure that they know.
Speaking of
they
the new
can't come
stuff
in
that we
and
want to do,
they don't own fucking certain things. They can't.
Yeah.
They can't like.
They can't feed the voices to AI, which is something I had to
Can't
like
do
go
all
into.
this fucking shit.
Crazy, yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's so tough because you're always walking this weird line. It's like a weird like balance where the money in this industry, the money men are the worst people on the planet. It's just all blood money.
Sometimes.
I mean, we could get into
feel
the
like
philosophy of money. I think all money's blood money.
Well, yes, but I mean, I meant specifically the people in this industry that sometimes fund stuff do, I feel like, have the heart in the right
Scruples.
place, but it's pretty like rare. I
Pretty
think.
rare, and they end up like us. You know, every now and then we find another
Yeah.
table story, and we're like, hey, and you see like
Yeah,
two ships
yeah,
passing,
yeah.
and they're like, oh my god, you're trying to do it too, and you're in your little
We should
boat.
do a crossover sometime.
Yeah,
and then
yeah. They're like,
we
we're
can't ever
struggling
find
too.
time.
Because everyone's trying to fucking,
yeah.
you know, balance everything. But I personally, I'm very proud of us. I think we've done a good job of it.
I think so too.
I
well,
know
that's it at the end of the
how
day, right?
brutal and how hard it is to do. You know, I don't feel bad about anything we've ever done, really. For Tablestory is as close to pure as you can get.
I feel pretty bad about you doing SideQuest.
Well,
I feel pretty bad about the
So do I.
editing that you've had to do.
me?
Actually, yeah.
No.
I like once I knew what your previous job was. Well, it was your current job at the time, but like once I saw what was happening to you, I was like, I will never ask him to edit anything.
There was only
ever.
like 1 year where
Yeah.
editing to me, I would open up the software and feel a sense of absolute doom and
Yeah.
dread. I've hated it so much.
But you know,
But it was the same as you with photography. For me,
Yeah.
editing was a thing that I learned how to do as a teenager, and I loved. Me and
Yeah.
Liam would edit stupid little videos, and we'd have so much fun. And I taught myself the software. It wasn't a thing that I progressed into a career with any intention in. It just happened over time, and I really enjoyed it. And then the same thing. You do a job. It doesn't matter what the job
Yeah.
is. It doesn't matter even the conditions. If you do a job in almost anything, eventually you'll fucking hate it. I always do. This is one of the only
for
things
this, yeah,
that I can't believe it, because I've always eventually got
Yeah.
bored of everything I'm doing, and I've never with this. It's never really. It hit me once around the same time, and I had a few converging things that happened at the same time. But the same thing with editing. There was a day, I remember the day when I wanted to edit something for fun, and I opened up the software and I edited something for fun. I don't remember what it was. It was like an intro for my stream or something silly.
I think it
And
was
I went,
Jedi. You told me.
That was the game, but it was like this was something completely random. It was like a stupid edit that I made and sent to like Greg or something. Just like, it'd be funny if I did this. And I edited something dumb. And it's the first time I'd edited something just dumb for no purpose in a long time.
Okay.
There's no way you'll guess. We're going to be here all night.
No. I think you did one for Miranda in Kingmakers. You made a fucking edit for that.
I don't know what it was.
Anyway, I remember that. And I remember being like, oh my God, Brad edited something random. Like, out of,
And I went, oh my God, that was fun. And then I realized that I was over it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was like, I'm through that thing. And then I went, oh yeah, I can enjoy this. I can create. And it was like, I did something creative. That you can do it. You can, and this is why I believe you can reclaim photography.
I mean, I'm trying. I occasionally will do this. Like, I'm going to take a photo every day thing. But
when you were speaking about it, I didn't mention it because I thought you'll fight me on it. I didn't want to turn it into a brat moment where you're like, well, now I'll never enjoy it on purpose.
Pick it up.
But deep down, I believe you can reclaim it. Look, we could go on about this kind of stuff for a long time. I think also over the years
we have new show info to do.
Well,
yes,
we do have new show info. Now, this isn't a trailer, but I will have one by next week.
Okay.
Which will be the top goal for next week.
This is for the thing that you were like, this is the best idea of all time, right? This is what you're talking about?
The idea of the show, not the best idea. Gotcha. Money-making scheme to make myself into the money men, to turn myself into the villain that we've been speaking about for the last hour. That is the greatest idea I've ever had in my entire life.
Okay.
Shall I tell you what it is? Maybe that should be the info. No?
No. That should be a surprise. No. That should be a surprise.
Now, what info should I give them?
Well, you could. I was going to say, okay, fine, you do it then. If it was your plan.
Well, no, I
just didn't want you to feel pressured into it. I just didn't want you to feel pressured into telling a secret. But the general concept of the show is pretty fucking cool.
What is the
concept? You want to tell them that? Well, I'm not gonna. What if I spoil something?
Well, he definitely will, because he hasn't told you the parameters of how to fucking respond.
You can tell him that.
Okay. You want me to do it? No, I'm stressed now. No. Oh no.
Well, you have to tell him.
Okay. Like right now?
While the credits are playing.
Okay. The very cool concept for the new show is that we don't know who we are, which is, I think, why he said PB's gonna hate me.
Now you know why you want to hate me.
Who are we but our effort?
Who are we but our effort?
Oh God. Who are we without your coin?
The show is called Unknown. And these two, I'm making their characters.
Yes. This is what I wanted you to tell me.
And they won't find out until you do.
Yeah.
You know, they won't find out in the pre-call on the day. They will find out when you find out, chat.
And then we have to RP appropriately with the new information.
That is going to be...
How will I know?
How will I know? What?
How will I know what underwear to wear?
This is the toughest part, is that you
do you do that?
No.
Oh, okay.
By the way, the credits are not rolling. I don't know how long we have to wait. But they will roll at some point.
Eventually.
Now I have a question. PB, do you do that?
Sometimes.
I reckon I can get the don't.
Sometimes I do, yeah.
Connie, what does Connie wear?
Nope, I can't tell you that.
That's the next goal. That's the top goal for the next episode. Forget the fucking intro.
All right. Well, I did have a bonus question that I was.
I definitely thought you were gonna say boner there.
while Connie was on screen.
Oh,
I did it. I got the don't die credits to roll.
Nice. Well done. Well done. Well done.
That was
the best part. They're not centered.
Oh.
They're not centered. I don't know why. I don't know. I'm never changing that.
Oh.
Cool. All right, there we go. Don't die. Yeah, Tables Stories Unknown will start on the 15th is the other piece of information. So 2 weeks from now. So next week we're going to do another session of non-effort. And then the week after we begin our new show, My Next Effort. Not non-effort, but My Next Effort, which is unknown. It is nothing to do with non-canon. And it is set
Everything to do with Gone.
in the same, it is set in Nibiru.
Oh my God, I would be so excited.
It's not set in Nibiru.
I would be so
I
excited.
couldn't do it.
You
I
got
couldn't
me.
do that. That
You
would be
got
absolutely
me.
insane. It
Why?
is set,
It's
no.
such a cool fucking setting, dude.
I will be running a complete remix of Gone. It is, no, it's going to be in Solmira. Ish. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. We will see you on Sunday for Deathless, if PB can be bothered.
Yep.
This week.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's a crazy episode, too.
Wrap it up.
Don't forget to tune in to
Wrap the shit up.
Draconim on Tuesday. And
Yes,
that is on
Tuesday, 3 p.m.
at 3
An hour
p.m.
later than
so
normal.
It's an hour
Yeah.
later than you would expect SideQuest to be on. Here's an ad.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Never again shall dragonkind bring fire to mortal war. Your wrath is not of this world. Your strength belongs to sky, wind, story,